permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports Arizona on Monday agreed to pay $3 million to an ex-prison teacher who was attacked and raped at a state correctional facility when she was left alone with a violent sex offender. The victim sued the state in October 2014, claiming prison officials were grossly negligent in allowing the incident to occur on January 30th of that year. She had sought $4 million in her claim. Court records showed that Arizona did not admit liability in the attack at the Iman prison complex in Florence, about 60 miles southeast of Phoenix, but settled the lawsuit. The settlement agreement, obtained by Reuters through a public records request, was made final on Monday. Authorities said the teacher was attacked in a classroom by Jacob Harvey, who was serving a 30-year term for sexual assault and kidnapping. Investigators confirmed that Harvey stabbed the victim with a pen, brutally assaulted, and then raped her. No guards were present during the encounter. Harvey was sentenced to life in prison in September for the rape, plus additional time for kidnapping and aggravated assault, and he apologized to the former teacher during the court proceedings. State prison officials were heavily criticized following the attack, and the department was fined $14,000 for workplace safety violations. Scott Zwillinger, the teacher's attorney, said he was very satisfied with the settlement that he believes is fair to both sides. A spokesman for the Arizona Department of Correction said steps have been taken to beef up security measures and staff training to help bolster safety at its facilities. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
We turn to Washington, D.C., where America's roommates are holding a rally as part of their new One Vote Doesn't Matter political action campaign. The rally, which drew thousands of roommates, ranging from the guy who keeps all of his groceries in his room to the guy whose name the lease is under, is just a part of a surging grassroots movement to spread the message that one person's vote can't make a difference if you really, really think about it.
You know, this is like the most important election of our lifetime. We just want to get the word out that it's already been decided in some smoke-filled boardroom. You know, I pretty much minored in poli-sci, so I think I get this stuff.
Joining us now is Jason Copeland at a rally in the nation's capital. Jason, how would you describe the energy there?
Yeah, hi, Andrea. I'd say it's a definite chill vibe. I just saw the roommate whose only friend seems to be his younger brother and the guy who just has an air mattress in his room passing out flyers together. Now, the roommates do make some interesting points. The Electoral College it is weird.
This is the Onion News Network.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us here. We'll give you our toll-free numbers and the Skype username that allow you to take control of the airwaves. Bring up whatever happens to be on your mind. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Jonny Ray,
and Conan.
Jonny Ray, welcome back. It's been a little while since you've been behind a microphone on the show.
Thanks, Ian. It's great to be back. I was gone for a while to put on a play, and it was a great experience until I got fired.
You got fired from your own play.
Yeah.
Wait. It was because you act on a regular basis at these, right across the street from us, pretty much. And
I'm
I always see
amateur.
I always see your picture when I'm going into the Cheshire TV studios there, and I'm like, who is? Oh, I know who that is. But this was your play.
I didn't write it, but I was directing it, and but I had creative differences with the producer, and my producer had a lot of ideas, and I just kept saying, no, terrible idea, no, terrible idea, no, terrible idea. And she was like, all right,
well, I've got the money.
You're out of here.
Yeah, welcome to Hollywood.
I have no regrets.
But so it still was a good experience, though, you were saying.
Yes, it was.
Okay. What is the in the credits, movie credits, if a director doesn't approve of the film, he'll write his name down as something. This is a Hollywood thing. There's a pseudonym that they use as the director. They won't put their own name in the credits.
I'm not sure what the term for that is, but yeah, that happens, and I can't think of a specific example right now. But a lot of times, if during the process of making the film they they feel like they can no longer take creative ownership of it, they'll change their name.
Do they change it to a certain name, or is it just any old pseudonym?
It's a certain pseudonym they use that indicates
that it's an indicator that this is not my film.
Yeah, they disapprove of the film and they don't want to have any part of it.
All right,
I know David Lynch did it in one of, I think, on the Dune film.
Huh.
I'm not aware of that.
We'll have to figure that one out. If you know it, the toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. A lot of people obviously talking about Barack Obama today, and maybe he should be nominated for an acting award. Didn't he give a good crying speech?
He was about to talk about Sandy Hook, false flag Sandy Hook. And and he had to pause, and next thing you know, he's going to town on the tears are
the waterworks.
He's pulling a Glenn Beck.
So you don't think Sandy Hook, the school shooting, was a real thing, Conan? You think?
It's a real place.
Oh, okay.
It was a real school that got demolished right afterwards. No kids. I don't think any kids got killed.
You don't think anyone lost their children in the school shooting?
They're all actors, all crisis actors, every one of them.
I don't know what to say to that.
And by the way, the name of the pseudonym is Alan Smithy, and the Smith is two E's on the end.
I have seen that name before.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating.
Toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. Barack Obama grew emotional Tuesday, according to CNN, as he made a passionate call for a national sense of urgency to limit gun violence.
Which is actually on the decline, and it's been on decline for the past couple of decades.
Yeah, that's true.
But according to people in charge, man, the violence is out of hand.
Well, any amount of violence can be made to look like a crisis if there's enough media coverage that surrounds it. I don't subscribe to the conspiracy theories surrounding this stuff, Conan, so I'm definitely not on the same page as you. The idea that these people who ostensibly lost children in Sandy Hook and other shootings are actors, and it's just a big put-on, seems pretty ridiculous. I mean,
to me, it seems impossible to pull off.
Yeah, I mean, look, these are people who presumably you could know them, right? People obviously know who some of these people are. They're not just they don't drive off into the middle of nowhere and disappear when they leave these press conferences or whatever. Here's one of them, Mark Barden, who introduced Barack Obama today. Son Daniel was killed in the 2012 massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut. Obama circled back to that shooting in the final moments of his speech. We'll go on here with that in a moment. But
and a lot of these parents are full-time Second Amendment, take your Second Amendment rights away from you actors.
Why does someone have to be an actor to want to take away your guns? I mean, look, there are people out there who really do want to take away your guns.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have to be on someone's payroll in order to get out there.
I say actors, not as in they're real. They really want to do what they do, and they're paid to do what they're doing. So
you're saying this guy doesn't have a kid who died?
I highly doubt it.
But it seems so disconnected, Conan, because, I mean, there are obviously people who know who Mark Barden is. Are all of those people being paid to keep their mouths shut? Like, oh, yeah, Mark Barden, he really doesn't have a kid. He never has had a kid. And he's just acting like
we're talking about a small town full of spooks.
Spooks as in spies?
Yeah, working for some agency. And they have every right. This is what they do. A small town. I mean, if they all know each other, come on now.
What do you mean? If we'll finish the sentence, if they all know each other, what? Are they all going to back this guy up?
They're all a part of the conspiracy.
Come on, you really believe that? How can
Sandy
you look
Hook?
at me straight in the eye and say that?
Sandy Hook, come on. If you watch any of the documentaries on Sandy Hook, it's all made up. Where are the bodies at? Where are these kids at?
I confess I am 100% ignorant about Sandy Hook. I just know that there was a school shooting there. Yeah. It stretches the stretches credibility for me that there could be actors doing that. But with long-term planning, I could imagine a scenario where Mark Barden he and his family moved in a year ago, and there's a lot of makeup involved, and then they're in and then they're out. Mm-hmm. Same with the other families, and then they're off to the next crisis because they're crisis
and you're
actors.
Right. There are people in charge who really do want gun rights in this country to disappear, to be removed from the sheeps, because we are a definite risk to their power takeover.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have every reason to want to do something like this. And there are people gung ho, and this is on both sides of the aisle.
Why hire actors? Why not actually just go and shoot up a school? I mean, if you're going to claim that this is all some sort of government plot, that the shooter himself was employed by the government, that all of the victims are employed by the government, then why go through all of the
instead of just killing some kids?
The difficulty of organizing such a thing when you could, if it was government run, why not just have some government spy or whoever, some plant, go and actually shoot and kill some real kids? That's how you create terror.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you create the real feeling that something's wrong and needs to be changed. It would be a lot less costly and a lot less organizing and having to keep people silent and things like that.
If they really wanted to push the buttons of the American people, they would have showed the bodies of the kids. They would have showed the blood. They would have showed the injuries.
Who's they? The news media?
The
They're
media.
not going to show that.
Oh yeah, they would.
No, they're not. Conan, look.
You see these bodies of the drone strikes that gone awry, weddings that were gone awry.
They don't show that on the
Sure
news
they do.
media.
They show bodies. Yes, they do.
Look, there was a situation. Remember the shooting out in?
It's all about the media. If the media's got juicy pictures, they're gonna show it.
No, that's not true at all. Do you remember the shooting out in California, the most recent one with the two folks who came into the government building and was San Bernardino?
The supposed Muslims
you think that one's a government plot too? But in the footage from the helicopter that the news media
they kept steering away from it. They wouldn't show the guy. They wouldn't show the body on the ground. They showed the rifle They got the tree in front of the body.
I think they should have shown the body personally, but I'm not their news director. Those people are looking to not offend their audiences. They don't want to, they don't want to show gore on the nightly news, even though it would have been a faraway shot from a camera.
There's more than one news agency out there. They're not all of the same ilk, where they think that they have old 70-year-olds that they don't want to offend.
International media might be more likely to do it. Al Jazeera or something like that, RT perhaps. But
one news agency, and there's a lot of them out there that are covering these situations, would have seen bodies, pictures, and they would have wanted to get that information.
Go find them from a major news organization, one of the major broadcast television networks, the people who were there on the scene covering that. I challenge you to find anything that's not an accidental pan. Like if the helicopter happened to move or something and the camera panned over for a moment, they'll pan right back, man. They don't want to show that stuff on the news because they're worried about offending their viewers. This is like news standards. It's a common amongst the news business. Now, that's not to say there aren't people who would show it, like rotten.com or something like that. But I'm talking about major mainstream media. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We'll get into what Obama said here about guns in a moment, and also the latest on the Oregon situation. Apparently the government's planning on shutting off the power to the facility. It's Free Talk Live.
Retrievers, Labradors, Goldens are the main breeds that come through our door, but we'll train anything with 4 legs and a tail. My husband and I train hunting dogs and also have a boarding and grooming business. Our dogs, they're athletes, and we feed them very quality food. You can't get enzymes in a commercial dog food because they cook it at such a high heat, but adding Dynavite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dynavite's the bomb.
Tell everybody we know about Dynavite.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynavite. If it's working, don't quit.
When I get down to the bottom of my box of Dynavite, it's time to place my order. Dynavite.com.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Attention hardworking Americans over the age of 50. If you have basic computer skills, then you may qualify to earn a second income working from home. Income potential is up to $18 per hour. If you have customer service experience or other marketable skills, your income could be higher. The good news is you will not be alone in this new career, because you'll be joining 53 million Americans working from home in this growing industry, and growing it is. If you have basic computer skills and would like to earn a second income from home, a new free report can give you all the information you need to get started. Again, the report is free, and you can receive it in minutes. All you have to do is visit realcashsecrets.com. That's realcashsecrets.com. To receive your free report, just visit realcashsecrets.com. But hurry, because this free offer could be discontinued. So go to realcashsecrets.com. That's realcashsecrets.com.
What if the key to achieving liberty in your lifetime was to move together with others who think like you? Liberty activists are joining the Free State Project, which is over 90% of the way to its goal of 20,000 participants. And they're already making the move to New Hampshire. The successes are piling up and are proving the Free State Project is a real movement and no longer just a great idea. When you're planning your move, consider Keene. Keene is famous for its civil disobedience and non-cooperation, and there's plenty of political opportunity as well. If you're a regular reader of freekeene.com, you know there's a lot going on in Keene. Keene is the liberty media capital of the world, with television, talk radio, and more, all originating here. Though it's more than just activism, with regular social events each week. See what's happening at freekeene.com and get connected with video, audio, free books, a forum, and activist tools you can download and use in your area at freekeene.com. That's freekeene.com. You can listen to Free Talk Live on the radio, podcast, satellite, webcam, and our live streams. But did you know you can listen to Free Talk Live from any phone, anywhere? Add this number to your phone, 213-493-0308. It's a long-distance call, so make sure you're familiar with your phone's calling plan. The listen lines are airing the latest episode of Free Talk Live 24 hours a day, including our live shows. Call 213-493-0308. That's 213-493-0308.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We also have Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. In the studio tonight, it's me, Ian. Oh, sorry, Johnny Ray. Let's try that again. Try now.
Me, Johnny Ray.
And Conan.
So we're going to get into Barack Obama and what he had to say today about guns and putting more restrictions upon them. But we've gotten sidetracked into another one of Conan's conspiracy theories.
It's not mine.
About, well, you appear to have adopted it and fully believe it, that the Sandy Hook shooting was a false flag, meaning that it wasn't even real from the get-go, that no one was there shooting kids at Sandy Hook School. I just want to make sure I understand this.
No one's seen the bodies. No one has claimed to have seen the bodies.
Except for all the kids who were there when it happened, right?
Except that the kids who are all in this little community who, are no longer with us.
A little community. How many kids went to Sandy Hook School? I mean, generally, if there's a school in Connecticut, I would expect there's probably a few hundred students there at the very least. Not all of them were slaughtered in the shooting. So
yeah, this is just one classroom, if I understand correctly.
The father here, Mark Barden, spoke in front of Barack Obama today, according to CNN. One of the fathers, father of a young boy named Daniel. Allegedly, Conan, you're saying that. Are you saying Daniel never existed in the first place, or that Daniel did exist and was like shuffled away into some island nation where he's living large on the beach and
he's got work to do. He's here. He is. He's introducing Barack Obama, and he's
no. Daniel was the son. Are you saying the son was like what never existed in the first place, or that Daniel the son was actually not killed but somehow secretly moved out of the United States and onto?
Or he might be 30 years old right now, and it was just a picture from back in the 80s. Hey, I don't know, man. All you have to do is just watch these guys. I know this is the problem. How can you not? Okay, so you don't agree with me, but you don't watch any of this stuff. All you have to do is watch these parents with the fake tears, the crocodile tears, getting their stories mixed up, and the Photoshop pictures of their families all joined together, compiled pictures. I mean, it's just look at the evidence.
Are they getting all the other kids in the school to keep their mouths shut about not knowing Daniel?
Hey,
like, oh wait, who is Daniel?
This
he wasn't
happened
in our class.
This happened in one classroom. And the kids never saw any of this. They saw the guys that were running through the woods. They saw the guy in the cop car. There was no explanation. The guy with camouflage pants on. No one knows who that guy was.
Are you saying none of the kids at Sandy Hook's school knew who Daniel was, were friends with Daniel, maybe played with Daniel, on the weekends?
I think Daniel was.
After school?
I thought he was a homeschool kid, and he wasn't. I don't remember.
How could he be homeschooled if he's in Sandy Hook Elementary School?
He didn't have to go to the school to go there and shoot some people.
No. Daniel was the son. He was the son of the.
What was the name of the kid who did the shooting?
I don't remember. It doesn't even matter who did the shooting. But I mean, Johnny Ray, do you believe this? I mean, could you look? I understand, Conan. You're saying that there's some multiple videos made by paranoid lunatics who are going to somehow persuade us on this, and it's certainly true that a documentary can be very persuasive seeming. Like if you look at Loose Change, which is one of the more noteworthy 9/11 documentaries, it seems very persuasive when you watch it. But then if you go and you read the Loose Change guide, every single claim that's made in Loose Change is debunked. And then there's another guide that debunks the Loose Change guide. So I mean, it's just a never-ending rabbit hole of madness, and it just doesn't make sense in the context of this kid must have had friends. If he was going to school, he must have had people who knew him. So the idea that there wasn't a kid in the first place seems pretty ridiculous to me.
Yeah, well, there could be a kid though who actually wasn't shot, who's still alive, but the news of that day was that he was killed, and now he's just been been hustled off somewhere else.
Was every kid in that classroom murdered by this guy?
They never talked to any kids that saw it, were in the classroom that saw this happen. No one saw it happen. None of the kids who went on the talk shows and talked about all this incident happening were in the classroom and saw the shooting. They just heard it.
So you're not sure if this kid ever existed, but it would seem that, like, even if what you're saying is true, Conan, that there was some sort of government plot, it would make more sense that the kid actually did exist, and they've somehow shuffled him off, secretly somewhere along with the other kids, and they're all living in some, island nation where no one knows who they are, right? Mm-hmm. Because it would be ridiculous for these kids to have grown up around other kids and then to just
and tell their story years down the road. Say, hey, oh, by the way, this happened to me when I was 10
if that ever
10 years
happens,
old.
You'll be vindicated, right?
Well, it's not going to happen.
And the other thing that I don't think that the conspiracy theories really acknowledge is that it gives the government too much credit, right? Like, we as libertarians, we should know that government is inefficient, they're stupid, they fail, they bungle things.
And how could they possibly carry out something like this?
Something that would require so much organization, so much keeping people's mouths shut. It's the same thing as like the ridiculous idea of chemtrails. Yes, there have been some examples of government spraying some things from the sky. Okay, so
and talking about attempting to do it, they want to do it.
It has happened in certain cases, but it's always obvious when it happens. Like in Florida, they sprayed this stuff called malathion once, and it was all over everything when they did it. So it wasn't like anybody had
no
clue.
Agent Orange in Vietnam killed vegetation.
It's the same thing with this though. In that
hey, look, I'm not defending chemtrails.
It's the same kind of crazy conspiracy theory though. The chemtrail conspiracy requires a bunch of people to keep their mouths shut about this major spraying operation, which involves countless jets and how many crew members are on these jets that are doing the spraying, the ground crew that's loading the poison into the jet or whatever. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of people, one of whom might just break the silence.
Hundreds of people. You're talking about multiple planes per day in each region.
Yeah,
it's not hundreds; it's thousands.
Well, in the case of Sandy Hook, you're talking about a multitude of people who would have to keep quiet about all these chess moves that the government has ostensibly been making. And the more people you get involved in something, the less likely everyone's going to keep their mouths shut.
You don't tell everybody. You have guys at the top who know what's going on, and they hold a drill. And people actually went out there. There might have been a bunch of EMTs and a bunch of police and a bunch of fire department that went out there. Hey, they were conducting a drill that day. They thought they were,
that had no dead bodies.
Yeah, they set up the display, they set up the triage, and then they mill around.
So you're saying that the fire department, the police department, whichever emergency responders came out, were told it was a drill?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then why wouldn't they come out later and say, yeah, that was a drill. We didn't see any bodies?
Some of them have come out and said they haven't seen any bodies.
Toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Let's go to Glenn. He's in Philly. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Glenn.
Good evening, guys. Okay, let's set chemtrails aside. I'm calling in support of Conan at this point. Rather than hammering on one particular problem in the mix with Sandy Hook, if you look at, there's a wide variety of anomalous variables involved with it that seem to point to a real problem there. Now, there are a few people who I think have written on this. I think the one guy's name is Fletcher. If you Google Sandy Hook Fletcher, you can probably find his books and stuff like that. An investigator who, started tracking this stuff down. And
I want to know what you think about this. Hang on, Glenn. We'll bring you back. 855-450-FREE. It's Free Talk Live.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, Katie Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KATIE. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to katiearmor.com. Come and take it.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Did you know that you can listen to and watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cam at cam.freetalklive.com? Not only that, but you can also chat with other listeners at the same time. Do I need to mention that both the studio cam and chat room are totally free? Outside of Free Talk Live's live hours, you won't see a cam feed, but will hear audio from the Liberty Radio Network. So listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
We just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want here. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Be careful what you believe in general. I mean, I don't believe the conspiracy theory documentaries, and you certainly shouldn't necessarily believe the mainstream media. Everybody's got an agenda, and they're promoting it. If you want to promote yours, you can call in toll-free, 855-450-FREE. Ian, Johnny Ray, and Conan in the studio here tonight. I'm going to continue here with the calls, with your calls and thoughts. But first, I also want to let you know, I've been, Conan, I pulled up the Wikipedia article on Sandy Hook just to kind of refresh on it, because I have not spent the same amount of time on this that you have. However, Conan, despite having seen all these conspiracy documentaries, you insisted that this was one classroom. According to the reports here, there were more than one classroom. There was one classroom where nearly every student was slaughtered, but there was a 6-year-old girl who survived by playing dead. And then the guy went to the next classroom and shot some students. So in total, the claim is there were 20 students killed and 6 adults. And you're saying all of that was fake?
Hey, I'm not claiming that no one was shot, that no shooting actually happened.
Okay.
I'm just saying that I haven't heard anyone talking about the bodies and actually seeing it. So I guess I need to find this little girl who faked dead.
Just because you can find a paramedic who says, I didn't see any bodies, doesn't mean there weren't other paramedics who did see the bodies.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't heard it. I haven't heard the paramedics saying that, we carried out this many bodies and they were all bullet wounded up. There was the one guy, the guy...
So you're saying there could have been a shooting, but that it wasn't... I'm confused. What is it that you believe happened?
I believe the people put on an event to scare people into giving up more of their Second Amendment rights because of a lot of loons like Adam Lanza running around shooting up classrooms, which is the big thing. If you want to get your name out there, if you want to scare the American public, shooting kids is the best way to do it, and that's exactly what they did.
Let's go back to Glenn. He's in Philly. He was beginning to make a point, saying that you're siding with Conan on this. Glenn, go ahead.
Well, hang on. Yeah, there's a fellow named James Fetzer, F-E-T-Z-E-R, and Wolfgang Halbig, H-E-L-B-I-G. If you Google Sandy Hook Fetzer, F-E-T-Z-E-R, you'll find a page where he has outlined some of this evidence, of really, highly questionable anomalies about this school and some of the things that went on that day, the coverage, the conduct relative to, the absence of, helicopter, medical evac, situation with them not letting the EMT crews in an appropriate time, and the overall status and condition of the school at that day and how it had been closed previously. It had not been brought up to snuff to be reopened. The lack of, computer, records showing the school as being online with the district, and there's just a wide variety of things. The fact that the school looked more like it was being used as a storage warehouse, the rundown conditions of the school, the unsafe conditions in the school, the lack of handicapped accessibility.
This is a government institution. It's not a surprise that government is going to keep their buildings in crappy condition. I mean, look, we've been to school board meetings here in Keene where they've talked about how one of the government schools here is like super hot in one section and super cold in the other.
This is a richer town. They have a lot of
spending $20,000 per student here in Keene. That's pretty damn richy.
The point is, you insist on arguing vehemently without having looked at any of the evidence. These guys, have investigative backgrounds, and why not take some time and get a look?
Because I got better things to do than watch a bunch of crazy lunatics present a ridiculous scheme.
Who are you to label them crazy lunatics?
It's crazy to suggest that the government would put all of this together just for the purpose of trying to put gun control regulations. Is it so unbelievable that there are crazy people who would shoot other people?
No, that's entirely possible, but it's not crazy.
What's most likely? Is it most likely that there would be hundreds of actors hired by the government to go and put on some sort of school shooting situation, or that somebody's a nutcase and would go and shoot some people?
They had porta potties ordered for the event in advance of the event. Okay, who called an order for porta potties in advance? But
and it wouldn't be hundreds of actors, and you only need a couple dozen actors.
Right, and they're like these videos. Where are the 600 kids that should have been in the school? Where are all the hundreds of kids? Where are all the where and these video loops? You see the.
So you're saying no kids were killed?
I'm saying I'm inclined to entertain that possibility. Yes.
I don't know.
No adults were killed.
Here's the other thing.
The 26 people that are supposedly dead. Where are they? Were they even? Did they exist before?
Okay. Yeah. Hang on. Well, here's the other thing. If this happened in a school with hundreds and hundreds of kids and it was this huge community trauma, where is the combined? There should be a combined outcry of outrage when anybody questions it. Why is everybody just clam up and I can't speak to that, the people of there's this huge avoidant response on this. There should if this
What do you think? The people who just suffered through trauma are going to want to sit there and watch the conspiracy theory movie about it? Come on, man.
But the appropriate response is vehement outrage, and it's not there. Look for what should be there and isn't. Where is the corporate sense of vehement outrage at this being questioned? It's not there. It's always.
Why would anyone care about what a bunch of conspiracy kooks are saying on the internet about them?
Because
I got better things to do than sit there. If I were involved in this tragedy,
when people come at you here in our community, you very vehemently go to town on them. I've seen your post. I mean, I've seen 100 comment Facebook posts where someone has labeled you something and you come out and defend yourself. If someone called you a liar, you would go to town on them.
And everybody wants the truth. If your children, if you really did lose your children, you would have some motivation to explore what happened, what really happened.
Well, he's saying nobody lost their children. And so, look, if you actually did lose your children and there's people posting on Facebook saying they didn't believe that it happened, I don't think you're going to want to spend your time responding to that. What you're talking about, Conan, is people who comment on my blog, people who comment on my Facebook page. I can't hear you, Glenn. What's that?
Maybe what you think isn't right. I don't think. Well, who knows? Maybe, look, if your kid's school, if this happens at your kid's school, and then people are calling the whole veracity of the thing into question, and you've been through all the suffering, the appropriate response is a huge sense of corporate indignation and outrage. Like, why isn't there a meeting of like this? It should be shouted down vehemently. It's got sufficient exposure.
Because a bunch of crazy kooks on the internet don't matter. That's why people aren't responding to them. Thanks for the call. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE.
Ian, there are an awful lot of crazy kooks out there, man, because, I mean, they're
all over the internet. Why should anyone pay any attention to them? These are the same people who believe the government's dumping chemicals from the sky.
Because this story is fishy. People see the picture. They see these guys talking about their kids.
People who lost their kids probably don't think it's fishy.
Yeah. You see these same guys that are walking up there laughing right before they start talking about their dead children. I mean, come on, man. People see that and like, hey, come on. There's something wrong with this. There's something wrong with this character.
I want to interject something that does not speak to the veracity of the hoaxes. And Ian, it's something that you and Mark have brought up many times in relation to conspiracy theories, that after it's all over, it's important to remember that the U.S. government commits horrific acts right out in the open. They're
like police abuse.
They kill thousands of children.
Drone bombing? I mean,
in the Middle East. And they admit to it. So the outrage against the government, we've got plenty of fuel to create the righteous anger that should be there, but it's still not there. So it's not necessarily productive to mine domestic murder hoaxes created by the government when we know they steal half of my money out of my paycheck.
Yep.
Yeah, and they kill people in the Middle East, murder, and that's all I got to say about that.
You don't have to prove that. You don't have to prove those things. We know those things are true.
So there is enough fuel. You're right to spend more of your time more wisely.
The toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. We'll continue with your calls and thoughts. It's Free Talk Live.
Think you're fat? You might just be bloated. Find out by calling now for a free trial of New Biotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. For a free trial, call 1-800-965-1170.
I used to be plagued by potbelly and constant bloating. After taking New Biotics, my belly flattened and continues to get flatter. My sense of bloating and discomfort is gone.
If you've got a big belly, you might not be fat. You might just be bloated. New Biotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. So just think how much better you'll look and feel. Think you might be bloated? Call now for a free trial of New Biotics and see how much flatter it makes your belly. You might be surprised. But hurry, call now for details while these free trials last. 1-800-965-1170. That's 1-800-965-1170. 1-800-965-1170.
Did you know that home break-ins increase more than 100% during the holidays? It takes just 10 seconds for an intruder to kick in your door. But police response to a home alarm system is more than 20 minutes. And intruders are in and out of your home in 5 minutes. Thieves know that you're not home and have presents inside just waiting to be taken. And if you are home, how safe will you feel with an intruder lurking inside with your family? That's why police across the country are recommending you use Door Armor. Proven to withstand the force of a battering ram, Door Armor keeps intruders out. It's easy to install and barely visible, and your Door Armor is guaranteed for life. Go to InvasionStopper.com for a very special buy one, get one at half-off deal. These savings are for a limited time and only available to GCN listeners. Protect your valuables and loved ones this holiday season. Go to InvasionStopper.com now. That's InvasionStopper.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Tuesday, gold is $3 higher at $1,077 per ounce. Silver is up 6 cents at $13.98 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $432 US. Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been helping people to buy and sell precious metals for nearly 40 years. We are online at rrbi.co, where you can see our prices and place orders, or give us a call at 800-874-9760.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can join us here toll free if you'd like. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Conan.
And you can also join us via Skype. Skype username LRN.FM. Coming up, the New Hampshire Liberty Forum is right around the corner. It's February 18th through the 21st. Just about a month and a half away at this point, maybe a little less than a month and a half. You can join us. The Free Talk Live show will be broadcast live every single night from the Radisson Hotel in Manchester. It's February 18th through the 21st. It's going to be a great time. Edward Snowden, that's right. He's going to be there in virtual form. He'll be appearing via video link from Moscow, where it'll probably be pretty late or early in the morning when he is actually on with us, which will be quite an honor to be graced by Edward Snowden, even in virtual form. He's the keynote speaker for the event, or one of the keynote speakers. I don't believe they have announced whoever the other keynote speaker will be. There may be one or two more announced between now and the actual event. And there's other speakers will be there as well. So go and check out the website, nhlibertyforum.com. That's where you can learn more about who's going to be talking about what. But the real reason to attend is to be together with hundreds of liberty-minded people who generally agree that we need more freedom in our lives, and they're going to move together to make that more likely, as the three of us have done.
What are the dates on that again?
It's February 18th, which is a Thursday, through Sunday, the 21st. So start planning for this right now, because before you know it, you're going to blink and it's going to be here. NHLibertyForum.com, right in the heart of Manchester, in the middle of the wintertime in New Hampshire. You got to be hardcore to come up here for this one, and hundreds of people will do so.
For
awesome.
a second there, it was pretty stinking warm up here. And
it's now very cold.
We finally got our cold.
Yeah, the cold snapped, as they say. So NHLibertyForum.com. We'll look forward to seeing you there. We're going to go right back into your calls and thoughts here about, we were going to talk about Obama and the gun control thing. We'll get back to that. But a lot of people are still fired up.
A can of worms has been opened.
Yeah,
this is something. I tell you, man, this is a fishy story.
Have you? Okay, so Conan, you're accusing me of not having watched a bunch of these conspiracy theory documentaries, but have you read any of the rebuttals to the documentaries? Have you taken the time to read the rebuttals to the truthers?
I don't know that there are a whole lot of there. Like, for example, 9/11. There's lots and lots of rebuttals.
Yep.
And yes, I have seen some of those.
I just found several of them here.
Rebuttals to the hoax.
Yeah. So let's go to your phone calls, though, first. John is in Oregon, listening to LRN.FM. Hello, John.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey there, you're on the air.
Yeah, I'm calling regarding the Sandy Hook conspiracy. I think with any conspiracy like these, the truth almost is more in the middle rather than it's a yes or no question. I think it has to do more with the media and how they depicted the Sandy Hook shootings. They replayed a lot of footage that was taken from the day earlier for the children, as well as I do believe there were crisis actors on. And there was a lot of strange things that happened with it. But, the whole thing with the drill that was going on and with the kids, the big part I have is that the coroner would not allow the parents to see their children, the bodies of their children, or the quote parents, only a picture, but then would allow them. They had a funeral for all these kids, a big funeral, and they were all closed caskets. And people were reporting on the news an hour before the shooting even was supposed to take place that there was a shooting going on. And the whole thing just seems very strange.
Okay. He just hung up. All right. Well, thanks for the call.
I was about to ask him if he thought that because Johnny Ray brought up a very good point. There are a lot of things on the table that affect us as Americans, and that are true. That the government has admitted to. That the people who are orchestrating the things that they do,
undeniable violence.
They admit to it. And should we even think about these types of stories? I say that the truth is very important. I say that a lot of what we believe is built on some of these issues. And
how many school shootings have been real, Conan? I mean, because there have been several, right? Going all the way back to Columbine, for instance. Was that one real?
The only ones I'm familiar with are Columbine, Sandy Hook, and As far as school shootings, I'm not really familiar with a whole lot of them.
There have been a few. There have been a few over the years.
Usually,
was Columbine real?
Usually, it's just some guy going in there, some kid going in there, and he's shooting the bully, and that's it. Maybe the bully's girlfriend, and that's all.
Was Columbine real? They were bullied. Allegedly.
I don't know anything about Columbine except the two guys with the trench coats, and they were the trench coat mafia or whatever. That's all I really know about the. Fat Boy did a documentary on it.
Who's Fat Boy?
The guy who hates capitalism, the director.
Michael Moore.
Michael Moore, yeah.
He did.
Yeah, he did something. I remember Marilyn Manson was in it.
Huh.
Bowling for Columbine.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's go to Drew in Iowa. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Drew.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's on your mind tonight?
Well, first, I just want to say that the cold snapped in Iowa, too. Usually it's, we're in the negatives this time of year, and shoot, it was 60 on December 23rd. So
sweet.
Wow.
Yeah. But, so I guess I sometimes I can get sort of captivated by conspiracy theories and whatnot. But, to kind of put it in a more simple context, what would the structure be, and how possible do you think it is that people like Naomi Wolf are right, or the guy that claimed to be the KGB officer in the 80s, Yuri Bezmenov, that claimed that the media is complicit in sort of empowering government to, they're essentially like a propaganda arm.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, but that's not necessarily an evil plot by the Bilderbergers as much as it is just sort of the way media tends to work. So I'll give you an example of this. The media relies on the government for a lot of its information, which is a problem because, you should be questioning the things that the government says rather than necessarily accepting all of it at face value. But what will happen is the media, because of that reliance, they don't want to get cut off
from the press
they're
release. Lazy. They have a nice cushy job. They're just sitting there, and a paper
release comes out.
A press release gets pushed in front of them. They read off the paper, and then they go home, and then that's their
literally
day.
what it is. I mean, that is how it works. So if the media,
so they just take the state at its word.
Yeah, and that's a problem. And if they do actually, if the media actually investigates the state, as has happened every now and then, if you look at the Police Complaint Center, which is a great group formed by Diop Kamal, who's a former police officer, he actually does investigations into the police. So look up Police Complaint Center. He's got a YouTube channel now, and he's actually posting some of their old videos from back in the last decade, where he'll send an undercover agent into police departments, for instance, and he's been hired by news media channels to do this in certain cases. Which, this is good reporting, right? He'll go in and with an undercover camera, and he'll ask the police department, and he'll test multiple departments in like a region. So he'll go in and he'll say, I'd like to get a complaint form. And then he'll just record and reveal how the police respond to a simple request for a complaint form. This is like one of the most basic requests that a person could make. Hey,
he's like a secret shopper.
Yeah,
he's been attacked. He's been...
well, he won't tell the person. He won't tell the officer what the complaint is about. He doesn't want the officer to fill out the form for him. He wants to be given the form so he can take the form out of the department and then go fill it out, or bring it to someone to fill out.
Wait, that's not. You can't do that?
It depends on the department.
Okay.
So in theory, you should be able to get a complaint form and leave the department with it. So some departments are good. They'll hand over the complaint form and he'll leave. But in other departments, the officer will start to question him as though he's now become a suspect. Well, what's the incident you're talking about? Which officer are you going to complain about? And then if he doesn't give that information, the officers get more aggressive. And in certain instances, the guy who is simply asking for a complaint form is thrown against a windshield, handcuffed and arrested. I mean, this guy has been beaten up by the police just because he wanted to get a complaint form. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is in the case of
that's just good TV. That's good.
But here's the reason I'm bringing it up. In the case of Miami, where one of these things happened, the reporter who was the main reporter who was reporting on this, so they hired this police complaint center, but then there was the reporter who was providing the information to the channel. After that reporter kept getting pulled over by the police in the area, and ultimately the channel fired him because of the pressure that was being put down on them by the police. So, if you want to keep getting the press releases from the police and you want to keep getting the police chief for the interviews that your news channel does from time to time, then you better not question them and you better not go after them. And so you take that concept and you write it large across all news media, and then you get an idea for why they're so obedient. Drew, if you had another point, we'll let you come back here in moments. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Of course, the solution is to have more media, and then that solves the problem.
You can control your health care with Liberty Health Share.
Liberty Health Share is like-minded people coming together to share medical costs, which saves money.
You don't even have to pay for procedures that violate your conscience.
Because we all share the same values.
Join the movement of people who share in medical costs and change the way you pay for your health care forever.
Go to libertyhealthshare.org to find out more.
Liberty Health Share.
Together, we're changing healthcare for good. libertyhealthshare.org.
Currency is too important a thing to be left in the hands of government bureaucrats, especially when billions of dollars can be created with the swipe of a pen. Overstock.com supports the cryptocurrency movement because it returns the power of an inflation-proof form of money to the people, where it belongs. Did you know that you can use Bitcoin to pay for anything Overstock.com sells while enjoying free shipping on orders of 0.211 Bitcoin or more? If you support freedom and the cryptocurrency movement, you should support Overstock.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com. The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, January 5th, 2016. Silver is trading at $13.96 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,076 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $433. Antiwar.com reports facing growing international condemnation for their weekend executions. Saudi Arabia is trying to turn the tables and make the whole situation about Iran, and is courting its usual list of allies to cut diplomatic relations with Tehran. Sudan was the first to follow through, cutting all diplomatic ties and condemning Iran's barbaric attacks after protesters burned the Saudi embassy. Bahrain, still clamping down on its own Shiite majority while blaming Iran for protesters demanding equal rights, was quick to follow suit. Bahrain insisted that Iran was interfering with Saudi policy by being unhappy with the execution of a cleric for the content of his sermons. The United Arab Emirates also reduced ties, lowering its representation in Iran to a charge d'affaires and saying it is planning to reduce the number of Iranian diplomats allowed in the country. Iran criticized the Saudi effort to increase sectarian tensions in the region, saying Iran was not to blame for the embassy attack and had arrested 50 of the demonstrators in keeping with their obligation to keep the embassy secure.
The Daily Decrypt is a Monday through Friday newscast about all the best news in cryptocurrencies and peer-to-peer networks. Know what's hot in the world of digital money, borderless trade, and cutting-edge communications. Available on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Facebook video. The Daily Decrypt is the news of the future.
UPI reports the U.S. Department of Justice filed a civil complaint against Volkswagen on Monday in the scandal over false emissions data. The Justice Department wrote in a statement, the complaint alleges that nearly 600,000 diesel engine vehicles had illegal devices installed that impair their emissions control system and cause emissions to exceed EPA standards, resulting in harmful air pollution. Vehicles affected include the Volkswagen Jetta, Beetle, and several Audi models. Volkswagen equips certain 2.0-liter vehicles with software that detects when the car is being tested for emission standards and then turns on full emissions control only during testing, according to the complaint. Volkswagen is also accused of equipping certain 3.0-liter vehicles with similar software that also illicitly assists the vehicle to reach emission standards. When driving in normal conditions, nitrogen emissions in such vehicles were up to 9 times the standard. Discussions between the U.S. government and Volkswagen about potential remedies and recalls have been ongoing. Volkswagen has proposed recalibrating the software.
For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports Arizona on Monday agreed to pay $3 million to an ex-prison teacher who was attacked and raped at a state correctional facility when she was left alone with a violent sex offender. The victim sued the state in October 2014, claiming prison officials were grossly negligent in allowing the incident to occur on January 30th of that year. She had sought $4 million in her claim. Court records showed that Arizona did not admit liability in the attack at the Iman prison complex in Florence, about 60 miles southeast of Phoenix, but settled the lawsuit. The settlement agreement, obtained by Reuters through a public records request, was made final on Monday. Authorities said the teacher was attacked in a classroom by Jacob Harvey, who was serving a 30-year term for sexual assault and kidnapping. Investigators confirmed that Harvey stabbed the victim with a pen, brutally assaulted, and then raped her. No guards were present during the encounter. Harvey was sentenced to life in prison in September for the rape, plus additional time for kidnapping and aggravated assault, and he apologized to the former teacher during the court proceedings. State prison officials were heavily criticized following the attack, and the department was fined $14,000 for workplace safety violations. Scott Zwillinger, the teacher's attorney, said he was very satisfied with the settlement that he believes is fair to both sides. A spokesman for the Arizona Department of Corrections said steps have been taken to beef up security measures and staff training to help bolster safety at its facilities. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
An alarming new study finds that people suffering from stress-related disorders react poorly to being trapped in underwater elevators. A tired 398-month-old throws a tantrum, and a little clay thing is purchased at an arts festival. And now an eerily perfect recap of this week's news. The Catholic Church reversed its long-held stance against gay marriage this week after meeting Connecticut couple Tony and Craig. The vacationing pair dazzled the Pope and assorted clergy with their witty conversation and true loving affection for each other, leading Vatican officials to conclude that love is love and it's silly to put restrictions on it in this day and age. The Chinese people announced that they would be willing to forgive most of the United States' $1.16 trillion debt if Americans agreed to dress up in costumes and perform silly dances for them. Chinese officials encouraged U.S. citizens to wear sequined vests and prance around while slapping their big fat American tummies, promising that the more humiliating the performance, the more debt will be erased. In sports, NASCAR fans are deeply puzzled by a mysterious black family seen attending multiple races.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live, you may join us here if you want. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, and you can bring up anything you want. We're going to talk about gun control at some point here tonight. Plus,
we're getting there.
Maybe an update on Oregon, where the government is saying they're going to shut the power off over at the Malheur Federal Wildlife Reserve. Joining you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian,
Jonny Ray,
and Conan.
We're going to go right back into your calls and your thoughts, though. First, we go to Drew. By the way, for those of you just tuning in, we've been sidetracked by Conan's conspiracy theory.
It's not my conspiracy theory.
By the way, you can hear somebody when they're using a vaporizer.
Yeah, it sounds like they're
device.
underwater.
Yeah, it changes the ability of the sound waves to leave your mouth. So yes, it's not your conspiracy theory, Conan, but there are multitudes actually of conspiracy theories surrounding the Sandy Hook shooting, and that's what has sparked a number of calls here tonight. Drew in Iowa is still on the line. Drew, I don't know if you had a chance to really get your thoughts out in the last hour, so go ahead.
Oh, it's way more interesting to just listen to you guys talk, but a lingering question, I suppose, to tie it all in, and I can tie it in, back with the subject of your show today is, just how far do you think certain people in the media, and I mean, who knows how far people in government are willing to go to manipulate and to disinform people into just doing what they want.
Yeah, going along with their agenda. These people have an agenda.
Absolutely.
What will they go? What will they go to? What measures will they take to actually get their agenda? This is stuff that's important to them. What hoops will they jump through?
I don't want to get as deep as with my question is bodies in Connecticut with the school shooting there and whatnot, but just are there people within the government willing to do crazy stuff?
Well, yeah,
and
we see it all the time.
The ultimate, right? The ultimate one with me is sort of like the JFK assassination. Well, the official story there, it just simply doesn't add up. The one that is clung on to. But so I think they're willing to go very far, and they could, what's going on in Oregon right now, they could spin the thing, really into oblivion. It's media spectacle already, but.
Drew, thanks for your call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Didn't some CIA agent come out on his deathbed in the last several years saying that it was all, a government thing with the government basically killed JFK? I believe something like that happened. It just doesn't, that didn't get the play that you'd think some sort of revelation.
That's typically
like that
how these things go down. When the story is 50 years old, 50, 60 years old, it's, a lot of people, what does it mean? What does it matter anymore? I mean, we've talked about this. What does it prove to prove these conspiracies? I mean, if you don't find out about them for 30, 40 years later, they've really lost their momentum, and the people are like, yeah, it doesn't really matter anymore. My government would never do that to me, 30 years later, because we're dealing with some other issues. We're at war with someone else. Or the dollar is about to fall through a hole.
Well, that's why I don't spend time on it.
Yeah, well,
because I already know, as you pointed out, that the government does bad things. That the government is, the embodiment of evil.
Yeah, they're getting ready to. They're getting ready to very possibly do some bad things in Oregon. If they, hopefully, the power going out and these guys are running out of snacks to eat is what's going to turn this off. And it won't turn into another Waco or Ruby Ridge.
Apparently, somebody at the Oregon Wildlife Refuge did tweet that they were requesting snacks be brought to them. But on the other hand, they also claimed a few days ago that they had enough food to last for years.
Well, maybe rice and beans. He's already tired of rice and beans, and he wants some Twinkies.
Wants a Snickers.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's a lot of bad stuff that the government does, which is why I don't spend my time watching conspiracy theory videos, because ultimately the conspiracy theory videos are what? Trying to prove that government would lie to you, right? But we already know government lies to people, and that government will falsify evidence, and that government will, murder its own people if necessary. We don't have to spend time looking into ridiculous conspiracy theory to find that information, because all you have to do is go to copblock.org, and you can see story after story, or photographyisnotacrime.com, and you'll see story after story of government abuse.
Yeah, but those guys had it coming in, and then people see those. Yeah, and I speak devil's advocate here, that people see some young hoodlum getting his teeth knocked out on a curb, and it's like, yeah, well, he had it coming.
Well, how about 92-year-old Katherine Johnston, who was shot to death by the police in her own home?
Which they'll never play on the media.
You gotta break some eggs to make an omelet, Ian.
Let's go to Armed Truth on the line in California, listening via LRN.FM. Hello, Armed Truth.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
What's on your mind?
Just hearing you guys talk about all this conspiracy theories with everything. I actually wanted to bring up something that happened regarding the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, and how basically the FBI pretty much allowed it to happen, and just how bad of an organization the FBI is. They're, as we know already with Waco and everything, they're incredibly corrupt and will do anything to achieve whatever goals they have.
That's
whether
true.
it is killing.
I would say all government departments are busy spending a lot of time proving their existence, and if they've got to let an incident go through the cracks to scare the people up, and maybe and so they get more funding. I believe that in every way.
We saw the FBI agent Phil, whatever the hell his name was, lie on the stand in the Rich Paul trial. And we know that they were willing to let a heroin dealer go so they could bust our friend Rich Paul for selling pot, so they could then have Rich Paul turn against the Liberty community here in New Hampshire and wear a wire into the Keene Activist Center. I mean, these people are absolutely corrupt and ridiculous, and they don't even record their own interviews. It's FBI policy that they do not record interviewing suspects. They'll take notes.
Yeah, if you have an interview, you'll have two agents. One of them will ask you questions. The other one will have a pen and a notepad.
That's it.
And if later your testimony strays from what that agent wrote on his notepad about what happened to that interview, you're a liar and you're in trouble.
Yeah,
that's real.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Oh yeah, I believe it. I think it's crazy, but I think they're pushing now just more control. They want more government power. I think the World Trade Center bombing, they were supposed to give Abdul Salem a fake bomb. He was an undercover that they had within the group planning the attack, and they actually allowed him to use a real bomb, which they have, transcripts of their undercover guy Salem saying, "I feel terrible. This isn't supposed to happen. I didn't want to kill anybody." Blah blah blah. And the FBI, basically wish-washing around it and forced him to testify. Or they said, if you don't testify, we're going to put you in a room with a bomb, fake powder, and say you're building another bomb and put you away forever. So they're incredibly corrupt. But I think it goes now even to this whole Oregon situation. Once I saw the FBI, on TV, and of course the media loves the FBI. These are the feds. They're, oh my God, the men in the blue suits. They're just the pinnacle of society. If you're an FBI agent, you're basically a god. A demigod walking here on Earth.
Sure, X-Files.
And I just see some. Yeah. Oh yeah. I just
Men in
see
Black.
something bad. I see something bad though coming out of this whole situation in Oregon. This is
it usually doesn't end well. I mean, I understand the feds are approaching this more cautiously, let's say, thus far than they might have in a Waco situation. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, if you've got the federal government, they're not going to let this go for too long. At some point, violence is going to be used against them.
Well, the Bundy standoff seemed to have gone smoothly.
It did. They did back down from that one. That's true.
And
so
so the fact that the Bundy brothers are, and I believe the father is involved in this as well.
No, he is not. The father has said he does not support. Cliven Bundy, from what I've seen, has not supported what his sons are doing. In this instance.
I know he suggested that they go turn themselves into the local police department and be protected by them instead of going to the feds. But I know the brothers have gone over there, and so maybe they might be onto something.
Maybe it'll end without violence. I don't know, but the federal government certainly doesn't know really how to do anything besides use violence. Thanks, Armed Truth. Appreciate hearing from you. If anything, it's all the cameras that are going to protect these folks that we didn't have back in the Waco days. It's Free Talk Live. Share your thoughts.
If you're not a smoker, please cover your ears, because the following incredible free money-saving offer is not for you. The makers of O2 Pure's revolutionary e-cigarette are now giving away free starter kits to all smokers who call in the next 10 minutes. Valued at $99, these starter kits are available for free, but only while supplies last. To guarantee your free kit, simply call in the next 10 minutes. 1-800-691-5458. The advanced O2 Pure design creates a pleasant vapor. There's no foul-smelling smoke and no nasty tar. So you can enjoy the nicotine you love whenever and wherever you are. Even better, you could also save yourself a ton of money, hundreds of dollars a month with O2 Pure. Again, free starter kits are now available to any smoker who calls in the next 10 minutes. This is a radio-only offer, not available in stores, so call now for your free kit. 1-800-691-5458. 1-800-691-5458. 1-800-691-5458.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You may join us here on the radio waves. Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. Our Skype username is lrn.fm, and there's a movement in healthcare today of people that are ready to stand up and take charge of their healthcare. People like you who are tired of paying too much for healthcare and getting too little. Folks who are standing up for their values and letting their conscience make decisions based on timeless principles. It's a movement sweeping the nation, and you should be part of it. Liberty HealthShare is leading the movement of people who are looking for an alternative to traditional health insurance. Liberty HealthShare is a healthcare sharing organization of people who are sharing the cost of healthcare in an easy and efficient way. Choose your own doctor, your own hospital, and live out your values in healthcare. Join the movement and change healthcare for good. Go to joinlhs.com, joinlhs.com, or call them toll-free at 800-722-8041. That's 1-800-722-8041 for Liberty Health Share at joinlhs.com. Let's go to, we're going to get into the gun control thing here in moments. But first, we've got Libertarian Banker who is on the line via Skype. Hello, Libertarian Banker.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, you're a little bit
Johnny,
loud. Can you do me a favor, back away from your microphone, maybe about 2 inches or an inch or so?
Sure. How does that sound?
That's better. Go ahead.
Very good. So Johnny Ray, I am so glad you're back on the show, man. I hope you'll do the game of the week again. I really enjoyed that.
We do have a game of the week slated here for tonight.
I discovered a delightful game last night.
I've been trying to get game of the week going for ever since I've been on, but
well, let's jump into it. I mean, we do take requests here on Free Talk Live. So actually, Conan had brought in a game of the week last week, and we didn't get to it. And so if we put it off, we probably won't get to it. So if somebody's requesting it, I think we should do it. Let's hear Johnny Ray's game of the week first up.
All right. Well, I've been playing nothing but Hearthstone for all of last year, pretty much.
I know one of our listeners on the AMP forum was so grateful to you for introducing him to Hearthstone. Apparently, he has also been playing it nonstop.
It's a national phenomenon, Ian. And a game has broken me out of the Hearthstone cycle.
Okay.
And it isn't the delightful game that I mentioned 2 seconds ago, but it's a game from 2002 from the Elder Scrolls series.
Really?
Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
Good one.
Are you finally playing that?
Game,
Are you finally playing it for the first time, or are you replaying?
I'm replaying it.
So what kind of Johnny Ray? What kind of character do you usually make? Do you make a mage or a sword and shield kind of guy? What do you do?
Well, when I first got this game on my original Xbox back then, I was sort of a Republican type, and I played a warrior type character, and I was big in the Imperial Legion factions because I wanted to spread Imperial civilization to the province of Morrowind and the island of Vardenfell. And, I went for law and order all the time. I never would have thought of joining the Thieves Guild or the Assassins Guild or the Native Morag Tong.
Let's stop down for a moment here before we go in a little deeper and explain what this is. So Morrowind, so Conan, you familiar with it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I played the game as well back when it came out for computer. It's hard to believe it was 2002. When that game came out,
and no one knew about it until Oblivion came out, and then that was the
some of us knew about it.
Conan, I gotta say, man, that's the reason I got into Morrowind because of Oblivion. You like that game so much, then you end up getting.
But this is just one more reason why the console players are always years behind. They were introduced to the Elder Scrolls through Oblivion, which is a crap game, by the way. Because Morrowind is so much superior to that game.
So let me set the stage here for our listeners that are like, huh? What? So the Elder Scrolls is a long-running series of games that stretches back to, I believe, the early 1990s.
1994.
I think the first one is
Daggerfall.
Arena. Oh, Daggerfall. Excuse me.
Arena.
Or Arena. I think it was Arena.
Yeah, I've never played Arena, but I did play Daggerfall back in the 1990s. And for those that aren't familiar, there's a series of games on computers and video game consoles that are first-person shooters. And these are not first-person shooters, but they are first-person, meaning that you are inside the eyes of the player, and you're sort of looking out from that perspective. But what's different about these games is, they're actually role-playing games in first-person perspective, which was something new back in the mid-1990s. They'd always had like the dungeon crawlers that were first-person perspective, but these games took you outdoors, out of the the dank, dark dungeons and into these wide vistas where you could travel across a whole continent, basically. And the real
and they're not linear. So
that's the key.
I mean, you could try to do the main plot and stay on it, but everywhere you go, there is just little branches going every which direction.
You're literally in a game. Go ahead.
I think what Morrowind had brought to the table really was you could look off in the distance and see a mountain or a house or a village and say, I want to go there, and you just start walking and then you make it there. It's just incredible.
Or there's a big bad baddie over there, and maybe he's just a little high level for you, and you can choose to go around him.
Elder Scrolls games are appropriate to our libertarian audience, I think, because they were big on freedom and allowing you to do what you wanted to do. And so many games, if there was an NPC who was critical to the advancement.
Character.
Thank you. Yes, a non-player character. Basically anybody besides you,
the computer, essentially.
There's an NPC who is critical to the advancement of, say, the main quest. In Morrowind, you could kill the people if you wanted to. You could try to do whatever you wanted to, and that would you wouldn't be able to complete the main quest, but you could still keep playing.
That's right.
And there's still a wealth of content in there for you.
You could play for hours and hours and hours in these games.
I tell you, I started one save where I literally killed every single person I came across, and that kind of makes the game a little boring. There's no missions to do.
And Morrowind, I think, was really one of the most free of the Elder Scrolls games, simply because you could levitate, which you can't do. Yeah, which you can't do in other games. And I've never made a game. I can understand how giving a player the ability to levitate could really make it difficult for you to create credible challenges for them, but in Morrowind you could do that, and it made the game in a very real sense more really three-dimensional.
Johnny Ray, I have to mention this. Do you remember the 30,000 gold crab that was on a random island sort of in the south of Morrowind, and you ended up selling all of your goods because he had the 30,000 gold? Do you remember that?
There are two special merchants in the game. One of them is the mud crab merchant that you're referring to, which I have never seen. I've only heard of, and he is the better one because he's got I think it's 10,000, maybe it's 30,000.
I think it's 30.
Okay, and most of the merchants have got somewhere between 500 and 1,200 gold. So if you've got an item that's worth 4,000, then you're
not getting what it's worth.
Yeah, you're stuck. The other notable merchant is a scamp by the name of Creeper.
I did not know that.
I knew that one. That's one I used.
Ben, our Libertarian Banker, thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate it. We'll continue on Game of the Week here in moments. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Johnny Ray, going all the way back now, 14. Has it been 14 years?
Getting old, Ian.
Not
Getting
quite.
old.
Yeah, about 14 years since Morrowind came out. It's incredible. It was that long ago. It doesn't feel like that long ago. We'll talk more about it here, and you can share your thoughts, your game of the week. Conan, you've got one too, in the tradition here of Johnny Ray.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Removing bad taste and odor from your drinking water is easy. Removing the bad stuff you don't taste is what ProPure does best. Water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure countertop, inline, gravity, and household water filtration products. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com or call 800-544-3533.
Are you making sense to the boomer mindset? I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. 80 million baby boomers comprise 25% of the population and control most of the USA's wealth. As aging parents pass on, they'll control more. Boomers are 46 to 65 years old and regard themselves as midlife. They identify as neither young nor old. They're post-minivan and pre-retirement, and they don't like being called boomers. They think me. Many of the purchases boomer couples make are individual purposes. They've been experimenters all their lives. If you want their attention, tell stories and keep it simple. If something seems complicated, boomers can dismiss it as, I don't need this. And if you're looking for work, you may be applying to a boomer, so relate accordingly. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live.
They believe, I think, that government can be good as long as you just elect the right people, which, of course, is nonsense. Government can never be good because it's an agency of coercive force. It doesn't matter who's running it. It doesn't matter what the goals of the organization are. As long as it's funded through coercion, as long as it's funded through threats of violence, then nothing it can do is ever moral or justified. They understand the system and they want to work inside it to change it. So, therefore, in order to have their hunger strike that they'd planned, which I thought was a great idea, they went to the government, and what they do?
Ask for a permit?
They asked for a permit. They asked for a permit. It was already over at that point, right? Whenever you ask permission from the government, you might as well expect them to say no. No!
You know what? It sounds like government has this non-cooperation thing down to a science.
Yeah, right?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. You can watch the LRN Studio Cam and chat with other listeners anytime at cam.lrn.fm. That's cam.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Don't forget, you can join us online as well at freetalklive.com, where you can enjoy the features there completely free. You get to actually submit content, if you like, right there to the front page of the website via our Reddit-based system. And so go and enjoy. freetalklive.com. We got Ian, Jonny Ray, and Conan in the studio. We'll come back to Game of the Week. Let's first go to, I believe this is Colin in California. Colin, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, is this Ian?
You're on with Ian, Conan, and Jonny Ray.
I find your show to... Hello?
Hey, you're on the air.
Okay, I find your show to be a total joke, and you're obviously controlled opposition when you smirk at conspiracy theories like they're as ridiculous.
I love conspiracy theories about Free Talk Live. Now, is Conan also controlled opposition?
Landing from Mars. Hey, let me ask you this: Are you aware? Are you aware that the most prosecuted crime in the courts is conspiracy? 2 or more people.
Yeah, maybe in federal courts.
Whistleblowing.
Maybe in federal courts, but not in local
then you
courts.
Refer to WikiLeaks as the tell-all. That's like going to the nightly news and saying, "Hey, it wasn't on the news, so it didn't happen."
Oh, you were getting your Sandy Hook information from WikiLeaks, he said.
No,
not WikiLeaks. Wikipedia, excuse me.
How about having James Betzer on that had a book banned from Amazon.com? You know, how we're being controlled because of you can't put the facts out there. You people
because
are
of what?
A total joke. Your show's a total clown. You're obviously controlled opposition.
Okay, so is Conan also controlled opposition?
I hope. That'd be a nice paycheck.
Conan,
whoever.
aren't you paying attention? There are 3 people on the show here. I mean, for a conspiracy theorist, you sure...
Obviously, yeah. He has no facts at all. He has nothing up his sleeve. He knows nothing. He's just a stooge in your show. Come on, you guys are a total 3.
How's it feel, Conan, to be part of the conspiracy now?
I know, I wasn't expecting that.
Because he has no facts, nothing.
Hey, can you stop shouting into your phone? It really sounds like garbage. Can you maybe back away for like 2 inches? Maybe we can actually understand what you're saying.
No hard data. Why don't you get someone on like James Betzer, whose book was banned on Amazon about Sandy Hook? If you're really an honest guy. But I know you're a hoe.
We don't do guests on this show generally, so it's an open phone show.
I know, because
any tool bag can call in and make any kind of ridiculous claims.
Your whole job is to feed a bunch of crap to the public.
Yeah,
You're
so who's
controlled
paying us
opposition.
anyway? Is it the CIA, the FBI, Obama himself?
Hey, when the Federal Reserve can create money out of thin air, they can buy every politician, every news media, every newspaper. Come on, don't you have a brain?
Yeah, you can't deny that one.
Take care, Stooges.
Thanks, Colin. Appreciate it.
As long as the petrodollar remains supreme and we put down the Saddam Husseins and stuff, then we can keep
I did
printing.
look at the book he's talking about, the one that was for some reason it was banned from Amazon, but I don't know if it still is. I looked at it, and a lot of the good points are there, but
it's probably banned because it's junk.
No, it's
poorly written.
I don't know if it's poorly
I really
written.
have no idea what he's talking
about. It seemed like a lot of the points that were made were really stretching it.
Right. I love how the idea that Free Talk Live is controlled opposition.
Yeah, by the Koch brothers, right?
We're on. No, he's suggesting we're the government. The government's controlling us.
I think your support of police body cams strongly suggests that you're controlled opposition.
So we get on the air here 7 nights a week and basically advocate for the end of the state, and we're controlled opposition. These are the kind of people who believe in conspiracy theories. I mean, look, I'm not saying there aren't actual conspiracies out there. There certainly are. But ridiculous claims like some of these people are making, everything from chemtrails to the school shootings aren't happening,
the lizard Jews,
to lizard Jews. He didn't stay on the line there, so we didn't get to ask him if he believes in the lizard Jews, but perhaps he does. To the idea that Free Talk Live is part of these conspiracies. I've actually heard a conspiracy about the Genesis Communications Network, and I would have loved to have asked that caller. The conspiracy is the Genesis Communications Network, the network that we're on, which is the syndicate for this show, is actually controlled by the CIA, and that Ted Anderson, the owner of the network, is working for the government, which, it's all this grand plot for us to get on the air for now more than a decade and talk every single night about why the state is a terrible idea and the state is evil. That's all part of a government plot to make the government stronger.
Well, there's the similar argument is made about Alex Jones, that he does bring up a lot of good ideas, but he's so nutty. He's so nutty, and his delivery is so off that it actually turns people off from some truths. He might be spouting some truths, but in the process, he's actually turning people off of them because he's a nut.
There's a website out there that spends quite a few paragraphs explaining why they believe I'm a federal agent, and I'm actually an undercover federal agent. So
that you started when you were 16. You joined up. Oh, 15, wasn't it?
I don't remember that claim, but that's an interesting one.
Well, if you consider how long you've been doing this program.
No, I was 22 when I started doing Free Talk Live.
Oh, okay. I thought you were a little younger than that.
Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. You can call and make any kind of ridiculous claims, and if someone whose book has been banned from Amazon wants to call and tell his story, that person's certainly welcome to do so. The fact that we don't have that person on as a guest isn't proof of anything. It's proof that this show is not a guest-oriented show. I think maybe the last guest we had on was Adam Kokesh or something like that. Every now and then someone will do something that I really want to talk to them about, and we'll break our format and actually have a guest on because of that. But for the most part, it's open phones anytime, which means anyone can call in and make any claims that they want.
I had a point about conspiracy theories that I wanted to make sure I made before the show ended, and it is that I want people to pursue their highest ends, and if somebody is interested in this stuff, then they should research it. And the truth, regardless of what it pertains to, is important, and it's worth going after the truth. But I think it underscores to me actually the importance of, believe it or not, the Free State Project. Why? Because we could discover next week that Sandy Hook was a hoax, and I don't think. And that could be proved to the American people, or it could be, or incontrovertible evidence could come to light that it's a hoax. And I don't really think that the majority of people, I don't think it's going to change their minds about things. They're going to come up with some other excuse for why their master is a good master. They'll say, well, the people...
Yeah, they were doing it for our own good. They wanted to take the guns away because guns are bad and they kill people. And this was no one died at Sandy Hook. It was just a government inside job to protect us from ourselves. So and people will say that they will admit that is a good thing.
And people who cherish their freedoms are exceedingly rare. And the best idea I've ever heard of for the advancement of freedom is for these people to come together in a real world proximity and get together in real life.
Yeah.
And organize or not according to what they want, but just being near each other, living in the same communities and having people who really honestly know what freedom is more important than broadcasting the truth to the masses.
I think that's absolutely true. And, obviously we don't agree on everything. I mean, me and you and Conan don't agree on every single issue every single time. But overall, we do agree that the government is a problem and that they are the enemy of freedom and that we need to have more liberty in our lives. And we're working towards that. And it's a deliberate effort that I think is not being duplicated anywhere else to the level that it is here in New Hampshire, which, by the way, the Free State Project is getting ready to cross the threshold to 93%, I believe, of its goal, if I'm not mistaken. They are just a few, like a dozen signers away or something like that. The goal ultimately of reaching 20,000 people who have signed up to make the move to New Hampshire as part of the Free State Project and then to get active once they get here to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Current participation count, 18,578. Which means we are 22 signers away from 93%.
Now, does it actually say that in the doc that they'll get active, or just move here?
No, you are supposed to be active to the maximum extent possible.
Could just moving here be a sign of activity?
No, that would be one portion of you agreeing with the pledge is that you will basically move here. I don't have it right in front of me at the moment.
Make the most practical effort or something?
Yeah, you'll put in the fullest practical effort. So whatever that means for you. Obviously, it's different for different people. 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, Hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me.
What
am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
SWCPoker.eu is Bitcoin Poker 2.0, where players can buy chips, play, and cash out anonymously with Bitcoin. No banking, just Bitcoin. Texas Hold'em, Omaha Hold'em, Draw, and many new games, including Chinese poker. SWC Poker gladly accepts players worldwide, and over 2 million hands of Bitcoin Poker have been dealt at SWCPoker.eu. Bitcoin Poker from the brand you trust. SWCPoker.eu.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Hey, it's the Controlled Opposition on the radio. Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE.
You will obey. You will obey.
855-450-3733. We've got Skype. Skype username is LRN.FM. We're all going to cash our government checks here tonight after the show and rake in the government dough that we've been making hand over fist doing
move
this
to my island
radio show over time. Yeah. So you can bring up anything that you want here, and that call, of course, is proof of it. 855-450-3733. And, Controlled opposition, something else we could be doing as our controlled opposition, encouraging people to play video games rather than overthrow the government, right? I mean, that could be a way to diffuse any potential rebellions, right? And then we are talking
about video
about
games that desensitize us to human killing so that I can become a drone operator and kill people across the state lines without feeling any remorse?
I bet lots of libertarians get upset when we talk about video games on the show, similar to the way that some hardcore ditto heads get upset when Limbaugh starts talking about the NFL.
Football or whatever. Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think people believe that, we're supposed to talk about liberty all the time on this show, and it's not that show. I mean, even though it is a libertarian, the hosts are liberty-minded folks on this program, it's a show where anyone can call about anything, so it doesn't have to be the issues in order for us to talk about it and enjoy and have a good time. So we're going to get back into the game of the week because we only really got started talking about that. Plus, Conan had one as well. But let's go back to the phones and the fun first. Gamma Blast is on the line in Illinois. You're on Free Talk Live.
Oh, yeah, I got my conspiracy to start the state for sure. And your goal is to get all the freedom lovers into New Hampshire so the state can just wipe 20,000
Nuke it.
of them out.
The new Poland.
Roll in tanks and nuke New
Keep
Hampshire.
an eye on us. But, I'm not worried, though, because the state is so bad at everything they do, I'm sure their plan's going to fail.
That's a good point.
They spend a lot of money on their programs, and they're going to run out one day, and they're just not going to have the money to fund it, and the people are going to pack up their bags and go get real jobs.
Well, this is an objection that is common, actually, to the Free State Project is, well, it's a bad idea for libertarians to gather together because you can be taken out. And this is an objection we've come across a number of times. Now, I think you're being facetious, Gamma Blast, but there are some people who they really do believe that if all the libertarians came together in New Hampshire, the federal government would nuke the place. And I think that
they might not nuke it, but they might put a fence around, and they might
roll in tanks or assassinate everybody. I mean, we've heard all of those things on Free Talk Live over the years. And I can understand the paranoia and why people would, believe the federal government might do that. And I suppose there's a possibility that they might. But ultimately, isn't that really a good reason why something needs to be done? Like, you believe the federal government is so evil they will nuke New Hampshire or roll in tanks and start assassinating people if enough libertarians get together. That's what you really believe?
That just really proves how important the movement has become and what it really means to
do something,
to the existence of government. If people scare the state that much that they will take those types of action.
Exactly. So go ahead, Gamma Blast. Anything else you want to share?
I mean, that is actually a concern for me, too, if I did move up there. And, and I am one of the signers, pledgers. And I don't know. I don't think you never know. I mean, depends on how things happen in the future. If things get so bad and they keep cracking down on freedoms, well, they would definitely crack down on the hot spot of all the freedom activity.
Well, we know they're cracking down on freedom now, right? So if you do nothing,
Yeah.
you can be sure that it's going to get worse. Thanks for the call, Gamma Blast. I appreciate it. Don't be afraid. Just come up to where other people are like you. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, if they drop a nuke on New Hampshire tomorrow, I don't care. There's nothing I can do about that.
You know what? I would rather, in the state motto, live free or die.
Exactly.
And this might hurt some people's ears, but I would rather die than be a slave. And so that all I really do, and I've backed off a little bit so I don't burn out on some of the activism, but I seriously, it is so important to me. My family, they can't understand. It's like, why do you even think about these things? I mean, and I'm like, well,
how can you not think
once
about
I
them?
pull my head out of the sand and I'm seeing all the nonsense, all the crap that's taking place, I know it hurts me and I'll probably die of a stroke one day. I'll probably die young because of all the stress that I'm inducing on myself. But I can't go back.
Well, it's like Cypher in the Matrix. You don't get plugged back in. You can't. Once
he was trying to.
Right. Once the rose-colored glasses are taken off, but in reality, you can't. Once the rose-colored glasses are taken off, you can't ignore the violence of the state from that point forward. And I feel like I've had so much fun here in New Hampshire, doing activism, meeting great people like you guys. There's literally 1,500 people here now that have moved as part of the Free State Project. It's been a rewarding thing to do in a lot of ways. If tomorrow New Hampshire disappeared off the face of the earth and we were all, die in a fiery explosion.
Hey, at least we died trying.
Yeah, at least we had fun doing it and we enjoyed it right up until the very end. So I don't regret moving here. And if the federal government wants to assassinate me or assassinate everybody that's considered a leader in the Free State Project, then what can I really do about that? There's nothing I can do about it. But if I didn't move here, then I'd be miserable in Florida. I'd have the government getting bigger all over the place, all around me, and I wouldn't have hardly anyone with whom that I agreed that I could even spend time with.
If you were lucky, you'd have one person who could understand you.
Yeah, there was like a handful of libertarians, and you go there and go to Bennigan's every week and sit around and complain about the government and never actually do anything about it. Here we're actually seeing progress being made.
Mm-hmm.
Here we're actually seeing state representatives. They're making headlines. There's a proposed bill to lower the drinking age in New Hampshire to 18,
mm-hmm.
and that's put forth by a Free State Project participant. There's another bill that's going to legalize prostitution in New Hampshire. If it passes, obviously these are just bills at this point. They probably won't. But the fact is, these proposals are being made here. These proposals are going to be discussed because every bill has to have a public hearing in New Hampshire. So if you want to go and talk about those issues in front of the state legislature, you can go and do that here. And so we're seeing progress in the area of liberty. Free staters, libertarians, voluntarists, anarchists are being elected in New Hampshire. That doesn't happen anywhere else on any kind of irregular basis, let alone a regular basis. So we've had all this success so far, and not one single assassination or a nuclear weapon dropped. How many, they're going to wait until we get 20,000 here, 50,000? Just don't let the fear get to you. The government wants you to be afraid. They want you to stay where you are.
That's their bread and butter.
They want you to stay right where you are and be so afraid of them that you won't lift a finger to oppose them.
Yeah, that you'll do everything you can not to think about those matters. You'll do anything but think about that.
Stick your head back in the sand and play some more Morrowind.
Which is okay. It's not a bad plan. I mean, if you can't make it to New Hampshire, you might as well play Morrowind. Let's go to Nathan. He's in Texas. You're on Free Talk Live on Skype.
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear that you were so skeptical about the Sandy Hook conspiracy. I think you called or indirectly implied Conan would be moronic to believe in that theory.
I don't think I called Conan moronic. No, I don't think I
No, but you
implied
said
that either.
like moronic people on YouTube or something like that.
Yeah, the loons, the
I think a
loony
lot of it's
YouTube documentaries.
Loony. I think it's pretty loony.
I said the guy who wrote the book Fetzer, I think he might be leaning in that direction. There are some pretty credible guys on YouTube that you just can't.
Yes, I think Conan's a little bit crazy to believe some of these conspiracy theories, but that doesn't mean I don't love him and respect him as an intelligent guy.
I just want the truth. Truth will set you free, Ian.
Yeah, so I'm kind of more with Jonny Ray on this. I just wanted to share my viewpoint. I guess that what I would look for is what has the government done in the past that resembled the conspiracy or whatever that you're talking about now.
Like Pearl Harbor happened.
And then, what other school shootings? See, you mentioned like you only knew a couple shootings, Conan. The question I would be interested in is how does the footage, how do the reactions, how does everything compare to other shootings of a similar type? And so then you'd be able to make claims about, is it normal or not for EMTs to be called out and then just go back? Or is it normal for there not to be any TV statements about, contradicting conspiracy people or whatever? Because taken in isolation, you can sort of imply anything, right? You could say, well, here's a blurry picture with some red arrows and it shows that this happened. But that would be my standard of proof if I were. And I don't know if Sandy Hook was real or not. I'm as ignorant as Johnny Ray about it. But it kind of reminds me of that quote from Henry Hazlitt about a good economist doesn't just consider the immediate impact or the impact on just a few people. So I think there's a similar standard that you should use when if you choose to investigate this.
Well, like Ian, I mean, he's making it sound like I go home and that's all I do is I study these things. No, I watch them in passing, and I'm usually doing something else while I'm listening to them. I'll be working in my studio and I'll be listening to one of these in the background. So I mean, I'm not, I don't study this stuff.
You're not obsessed.
I'm not obsessed with it, but yes, but I see some fishy stories or some fishy actors, and my eyebrows just go up. I'm like, well, hey, hold on now. Doesn't sound right.
Thanks for your call tonight. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. There's guns. There's video games.
There's crying Obama.
We can talk about all kinds of stuff. It's Free Talk Live.
Are your kids spending too much time online? Are they gaming instead of doing homework? Are they on Facebook instead of sleeping? Turn their internet access on or off when you want for free at webcurfew.com. 100% web-based interface means nothing to download, install, or configure. Web Curfew is free and controls any device using your home network without slowing down your internet. Block all adult web content with the click of a button. Don't let the internet raise your kids. Take back control of how and when your home internet is used for free. Visit webcurfew.com.
As a pioneer of the e-commerce movement, Overstock.com is proud to be the first major retailer to accept Bitcoin. Overstock was the first because Patrick Byrne, Overstock's CEO and founder, firmly believes in personal freedom and cryptocurrency. Over the past 16 years, Overstock has furnished over 18 million homes with a diverse line of products to suit everyone's unique styles and preferences. Support Overstock and freedom of choice while enjoying free shipping on orders of 0.211 Bitcoin or more.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Tuesday, gold is $3 higher at $1,077 per ounce. Silver is up 6 cents at $13.98 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $432 US. Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been helping people to buy and sell precious metals for nearly 40 years. We are online at rrbi.co, where you can see our prices and place orders, or give us a call at 800-874-9760.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darrell W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, January 5th, 2016. Silver is trading at $13.96 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,076 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $433. Antiwar.com reports facing growing international condemnation for their weekend executions. Saudi Arabia is trying to turn the tables and make the whole situation about Iran, and is courting its usual list of allies to cut diplomatic relations with Tehran. Sudan was the first to follow through, cutting all diplomatic ties and condemning Iran's barbaric attacks after protesters burned the Saudi embassy. Bahrain, still clamping down on its own Shiite majority while blaming Iran for protesters demanding equal rights, was quick to follow suit. Bahrain insisted that Iran was interfering with Saudi policy by being unhappy with the execution of a cleric for the content of his sermons. The United Arab Emirates also reduced ties, lowering its representation in Iran to a charge d'affaires and saying it is planning to reduce the number of Iranian diplomats allowed in the country. Iran criticized the Saudi effort to increase sectarian tensions in the region, saying Iran was not to blame for the embassy attack and had arrested 50 of the demonstrators in keeping with their obligation to keep the embassy secure. The Daily Decrypt is a Monday through Friday newscast about all the best news in cryptocurrencies and peer-to-peer networks. Know what's hot in the world of digital money, borderless trade, and cutting-edge communications. Available on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Facebook video. The Daily Decrypt is the news of the future. UPI reports the U.S. Department of Justice filed a civil complaint against Volkswagen on Monday in the scandal over false emissions data. The Justice Department wrote in a statement, the complaint alleges that nearly 600,000 diesel engine vehicles had illegal devices installed that impair their emissions control system and cause emissions to exceed EPA standards, resulting in harmful air pollution. Vehicles affected include the Volkswagen Jetta, Beetle, and several Audi models. Volkswagen equipped certain 2.0-liter vehicles with software that detects when the car is being tested for emission standards and then turns on full emissions control only during testing, according to the complaint. Volkswagen is also accused of equipping certain 3.0-liter vehicles with similar software that also illicitly assists the vehicle to reach emission standards. When driving in normal conditions, nitrogen emissions in such vehicles were up to 9 times the standard. Discussions between the U.S. government and Volkswagen about potential remedies and recalls have been ongoing. Volkswagen has proposed recalibrating the software. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Arizona on Monday agreed to pay $3 million to an ex-prison teacher who was attacked and raped at a state correctional facility when she was left alone with a violent sex offender. The victim sued the state in October 2014, claiming prison officials were grossly negligent in allowing the incident to occur on January 30th of that year. She had sought $4 million in her claim. Court records showed that Arizona did not admit liability in the attack at the Iman prison complex in Florence, about 60 miles southeast of Phoenix, but settled the lawsuit. The settlement agreement, obtained by Reuters through a public records request, was made final on Monday. Authorities said the teacher was attacked in a classroom by Jacob Harvey, who was serving a 30-year term for sexual assault and kidnapping. Investigators confirmed that Harvey stabbed the victim with a pen, brutally assaulted, and then raped her. No guards were present during the encounter. Harvey was sentenced to life in prison in September for the rape, plus additional time for kidnapping and aggravated assault, and he apologized to the former teacher during the court proceedings. State prison officials were heavily criticized following the attack, and the department was fined $14,000 for workplace safety violations. Scott Zwillinger, the teacher's attorney, said he was very satisfied with the settlement that he believes is fair to both sides. A spokesman for the Arizona Department of Corrections said steps have been taken to beef up security measures and staff training to help bolster safety at its facilities. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Are you a helpless moron perplexed by the world? Wish there was a device that enabled you to consult the Onion Book of Known Knowledge anytime, anywhere? Then you need the Book Bjorn, the amazing new wearable invention that makes you and the Onion Book of Known Knowledge inseparable. Never again be stumped by the panoply of bizarre objects filling your field of vision. Never take it off. Never be without it. All this for just 4 easy payments of $39.93. The Book Bjorn. The Book Bjorn. And if you call now, you'll receive the special page-turning wand. Turn pages with the greatest of ease. The special reading light to wrench knowledge from utter darkness. The book umbrella to protect the Onion Book of Known Knowledge's precious pages from the elements. Book Bjorn. This $800 value can be yours today. Send a check or money order to the Book Bjorn, care of the Zwiebel Center for Knowledge Studies, 15 Zwiebel Way, Macau, China. Do not hesitate. Buy now. The Book Bjorn.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here on the radio waves. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
The wise janitor, Johnny Ray.
And the guy who works in his basement, Conan.
We're going to get into your calls and thoughts here. We never really had a chance to get into the Obama gun control thing. Maybe we'll get a chance to scratch the surface there. But I love shows where you guys
wants to take our guns away. Enough said.
Well, I love the Free Talk Lives where you guys call in and we never actually even get to any of our show prep. Those are my preferred shows. So thanks for joining us here. 855-450-FREE. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. We're going right back to your calls and thoughts. First up is Jason in Arizona listening to K-Talks. Hello, Jason.
Hey, I just read a post on Facebook that gun control is hitting what you shoot at, but that's what
funny.
I'm calling about. I was calling about how it seems pretty irrational how this nation's lost all of its common sense. I heard you debating these people on this Sandy Hook incident. You guys seem to have common sense. You put them right in their place, and these guys are not even prepared to defend what they're talking about, it sounded like, but
well, actually, we disagree within the show on the Sandy Hook thing. Conan says that he believes it was a government conspiracy. A
conspiracy. I don't know how much government is involved, but yeah, conspiracy.
And I don't believe those claims. But and Johnny Reyes, I think you're on my
He's staying out of it.
Right?
Yeah, I'm staying out of Sandy Hook. I think that there's what raises eyebrows for me is the Boston bombing. Bombing.
Oh, Conan's on that one. Then we've talked about that.
Hey,
one.
any of these incidents where they're having a drill the exact same day and the time that the incidents take place, I'm already against.
Anyway, go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, well, you mentioned in one of your debates that about what are you getting paid, who's paying you, the CIA, the FBI, and I kind of wonder sometimes about these shows like Art Bell, George Noy, that late night show is on 15 stations across the nation.
George Norrie's on way more than 15 stations, dude.
Yeah, well, just in my area alone, I can pick up on 7 across the dial.
Okay, yeah.
But,
he's on hundreds.
Alex Jones, he's got a lot of good things to say, but he's got so much junk mixed in with it. I wonder how many actual radio shows are actually, what they call them, disinformation outlets paid for by taxpayers' money.
Yeah, I mean,
or special interest groups, and not necessarily all these people are funded from.
Yeah,
if they can get the taxpayers' money, that's a good.
That's a good question. I think just in general, it's a good question about radio hosts. How many of them actually believe what they say, or are they just saying it because they know there's an audience for it?
Exactly.
That's always been a question about Rush Limbaugh. Is he really the guy he pretends to be on the air, or does he have different beliefs and is only pandering to an audience? And whether that means he's controlled opposition or is paid by the government, I think is another question. But I just, are these guys even who they really claim to be?
Or is Fox News actually funded by liberal backers as a huge conspiracy to round up the right wing nutters and have them all in their little group, and whereas you got the liberal outlets, it's just is it just to divide us and keep us at war with each other, whereas they can manipulate us from their corner.
Yeah, does Alex Jones believe in Jesus Christ the way he talks with his guns, and does George Noy really believe in flying saucers and all this stuff?
I can tell you this about Art Bell. So I sat at the talk radio. What did they call it back then? There's this. It's now defunct. It was Radio and Records. That's what it was. Radio and Records was an industry publication that covered all of radio, and they did a talk radio seminar. That's what they'd called it, and it was a yearly event that they held, and it sort of moved around the country. And anyway, at the talk radio seminar, they would give away a lifetime achievement award at the end of the weekend. And one year, Art Bell won the award, and this was it was in L.A. that year. And Mark and I were sitting in the audience, and Art Bell got up on stage and accepted this award. and he basically made fun of his callers. Art Bell clearly did not agree necessarily with all the kooky stuff that was being put out there on his airwaves. He was just hosting a show which encouraged crazy people to call in and tell ridiculous stories. And
Coast to Coast was and is probably a free-for-all.
Yeah, and it attracts a certain type of person. We're an open phone show, but we don't attract the same kind of level of kookery that Coast to Coast AM does. So I suspect that George Norrie is in the same boat as Art Bell. They are just hosting a show where they are making plenty of money off of these crazy lunatics who call in with everything from ghost stories to Bigfoot to aliens and conspiracy theories. Thanks, Jason, for your call tonight.
And remote viewing. Do you remember remote viewing?
Yep. My favorite though is Phil Hendry when he makes fun of Art Bell and when he does Art Bell impressions. Phil Hendry, of course, is now no longer on the radio. He does a podcast. Great vocal talent. He does voices, of other characters that interact with him. So Phil Hendry actually talks to himself throughout the entire show, just doing different voices, which is an amazing thing to behold.
Wow. Yeah, I think Phil Hendry was the greatest comedian of the 20th century, the greatest comedian, and I think he's the greatest talk show host, bar none, ever.
I think you may be right about that. He's certainly the most talented of talk show hosts.
But he's so wrapped up with intellectual property and him getting what he deserves that he has led a campaign to keep all of his content
away, the internet,
away from people, so nobody knows who he is.
That's a great point, and it's a shame. You have to pay for his website.
If you've ever heard me say anything funny on this show, it was ripped off from Phil Hendry.
Yeah, I remember finding his show for the first time. It was on I worked at a radio cluster for Clear Channel down in Sarasota, and he was on WFLA at the time. And in Sarasota, we had a radio station that would essentially rebroadcast WFLA, which was the Tampa big talk station from Tampa, Florida. And so they had a little outlet in Sarasota, and I heard him on the air after a baseball game. And I was blown away that this talk show host was letting this rude, outrageous guest talk for an hour. Like, he had this guest on the air that was just so awful and so bad, like in a good, entertaining way. I mean, it was entertaining, but like any other talk show host would have cut this person off. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know at that time that it was Phil Hendry who was the guest. He plays the guest and he plays the host on the show. Yeah, and
I think a lot of people remember their first time listening to Phil Hendry.
I don't remember the topic. It was outrageous though. Whatever it was, the guest says what Phil Hendry wants to say, but not as Phil Hendry.
It's like comedians. They can go against the political grain by saying whatever they want, because if you splash a little comedy on it, it makes it all right.
He dredges up his demons and his darkest motivations and stuff, and he puts them into somebody
into a character.
Else.
And then he lets people call. So there are actual callers to Phil Hendry's show who don't know that they're being scammed.
Good stuff.
So it's like it's a reverse phone prank almost. Like, the typical phone prank is you call in some place as a character and play a prank on, McDonald's or whatever. But Phil Hendry is playing the prank on the air as a radio show, and every caller is the victim, basically, because they don't know that they're not in on it. They think this person's a real person that he's interviewing. It's brilliant. But he's doing a podcast now, so I don't think he can't take calls like he used to. That doesn't mean he's not doing a good show, but now I think every voice on Phil's show is Phil. Like, he does his producer's voice, he does the program director's voice. So sometimes the program director will call to bitch him out on the air, and it's Phil talking to himself. It's great stuff. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Let's go to Tom. He's in Maryland. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Tom.
Hey, guys. Happy New Year.
What's on your mind tonight?
Coast to Coast, that was a good show. Still is. I'll tell you, if anybody ever had to work a midnight shift, that show was like heroin. You remember the good bumper music and the creepy shows late at night? Maybe it was...
It was Dancing Queen, right?
Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah, maybe if you had to be up, it was more appealing. But I remember,
I did too. I worked in a warehouse and listened to Art Bell Coast to Coast at night. It's great.
Hold your thoughts, Tom. We're going to come back to you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Coast to Coast is a bad show. I really haven't heard it that too much, but it's an entertaining show, and that's why it's been a success over the years. Art Bell, by the way, pulled his new show off the air. He's been getting like death threats and people shooting at him, apparently. It's Free Talk Live.
This is a life-changing message for anyone with sleep apnea who is on the go and tired of dragging around a big, bulky home CPAP device. MiniCPAP.com now offers a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. For even more freedom, you can add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. It's called the Transcend Mini CPAP, and right now you can try it risk-free for 21 days by calling 1-800-939-8536. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is so small and so light you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. Call minicpap.com now for your 21-day in-home trial. 1-800-939-8536. That's 1-800-939-8536.
Have you ever thought about starting a home-based business? Did you know there's a secret 99% miss to making money with a home-based business? Having invested thousands of dollars myself in opportunities, I can tell you there is a secret which separates a moneymaker from a scam. Think about it. If a person runs ads on radio or television making fraudulent claims, they eventually wind up in prison. One man was sentenced to 10 years for making claims which could not be substantiated. But anyone can put a video on YouTube and lie to people for years and get away with it. If you are thinking about starting a business, you need to discover the secret 99% miss to making money. Why? Because it's free. All you have to do is go to realcashsecrets.com. But hurry, because this offer will be discontinued. So go to realcashsecrets.com and get this free report. That website is realcashsecrets.com. That's realcashsecrets.com.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for under $30,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet under $30,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100 foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait.
Call 800-917-8251. 800-917-8251. 800-917-8251.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
Cryptocurrency and peer-to-peer tech developments happen fast. Stay in the loop with the Daily Decrypt, a new video channel and podcast that will keep you on top of the latest innovations in crypto finance, security, networking, transportation, and gadgetry like drones and 3D printers. Subscribe to the Daily Decrypt on YouTube and SoundCloud and be an early adopter of the future. The Daily Decrypt.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you're invited to join us here if you'd like. Toll-free numbers 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. With you tonight You've got Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Conan.
And if we get a chance, we'll get back into Johnny Ray and Conan's Game of the Week. But first, we'll continue with your calls and your thoughts. Also, want to invite you to saveatpurse.com. You ready to save 20% on your next purchase from Amazon? Just go to saveatpurse.com. The catch is you've got to have Bitcoin. If you don't have Bitcoin, you are SOL. So you probably want to get some Bitcoin if you find out you can save 20, 30, 40, 45%. I have saved as much as 45% at saveatpurse.com, and I've had over 30 transactions under my belt in the last year. It's awesome. And by the way, somebody was asking on Facebook earlier, well, what about are there issues? Have there been issues? And yes, I did have one circumstance that there was an issue with a purchase. Apparently, there was an alleged stolen credit card used to purchase one of the items. The company that had sold it contacted me, and they wanted me to ship it to them. And I was like, well, I need to talk to Purse first because I'm not sure if what you're telling me is true. I contacted Purse, and Purse has a $10,000 guarantee. If something goes wrong with your purchase for whatever reason, then Purse will cover it, basically. So Purse said, look, here, we'll buy another pair of the headphones for you, ship you the headphones. You can ship it back to them. It actually ended up being that I couldn't get back in touch with the company. So there was some sort of weird thing going on, and I don't know what.
I wonder what they're selling on Amazon that could be in that range.
Up to $10,000, you mean?
What are they?
I don't think there's that much that's up to $10,000 on Amazon. I mean, you can probably buy high-end video cameras and things like that on Amazon, but ultimately that's just Purse saying, "Look, we're going to cover."
Right, that's just Purse's side of the deal.
And they did a great job customer service. I've had over 30 transactions, and almost all of them, have been completely smooth, and it's worked very well. Every now and then, someone will cancel. That happens every now and then with Purse, where someone will order the item for you, but before it ships somehow, they'll cancel it, and then Purse notifies you, sorry, your order's been returned to the order book. So if you're in a super rush, you want to use Purse Instant, which will give you 5% off, and you don't have to wait for anything. Then Purse just takes care of it, and the item ships. But otherwise, you have to wait until someone buys the item for you, and the higher the discount you want, the longer it might take for the item to actually be purchased for you. In my case, I put something up for 40% the other day, and it really only took a couple hours before someone bought that. So you never know. I mean, it could go really, really fast, and usually at 20%, it's like within an hour somebody will buy that. So it's awesome. Go ahead and give it a try. SaveAtPurse.com. That's SaveAtPurse.com. Tom is back on the line in Maryland with Ian, Johnny Ray, and Conan. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Ian.
Go ahead, sir.
Tonight was the first night that I realized I'd never heard your opinion on some of these big events, which so many people dub as a big conspiracy. And I have to say, I'm curious to hear more about your opinions on some of the other events. But I do agree with Conan. A lot of these things really have a lot of odd things happening that really don't make sense, even if you just look at some basic protocols that would normally be followed or should be followed. And so many of these events, they just aren't. And it just drives the conspiracy theorists. And I think there's something to it, to be honest with you. Listen, if you were close with someone that you worked with, or someone in your family or a friend, and you caught them in a colossal lie, even once, you would always be suspicious of anything they told you. And we know the government has told us colossal lies, so I'm always suspicious about what I hear. And then when I look at the facts, and I really don't spend a lot of time on it anymore, because you always find these anomalies, and it makes you wonder, just how much of what's being reported is true and how much is bogus. I'll tell you what, and I'll leave it with this. I'd be curious to hear what TJ has to say about all of that the next time he's on.
TJ the Spy, yeah, he's actually out on a vacation right now. I don't know when he's going to be coming back, but as soon as I have the opportunity to get him back on, I certainly will. Look, I want to make it clear. I'm not saying believe the government's story, but there's a principle. I think it's Occam's razor is what it's called. The most likely explanation is likely to be the explanation, as opposed to some bizarre conspiracy theory. I mean, if we're talking about the Sandy Hook shooting, I think the most plausible, if you want to go into a conspiracy theory, the most plausible one is that he was some sort of government patsy who just did some government agent's bidding and actually did shoot up the school. But to say that there wasn't a shooting and that 27 people aren't dead and that somehow all of the emergency responders were, in on this conspiracy, don't you agree, Tom, that really, it's pretty implausible?
Oh, I think those truth and lies spun into the best of the real works to try to get us to think or believe one thing or another. So, yeah, I don't think there's any one event that is all lie and all truth either. So that's really what makes it confusing, and it gets people fighting with one another because you really don't know what particular items are truth and what particular items are lies. And I guess it's just good to be skeptical about it and keep an open mind.
I do agree with people should be skeptical and keep an open mind. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate hearing from you tonight. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. But how many of the people who support the conspiracy theory on whatever item, whatever the issue is we're talking about, in this case Sandy Hook has been the discussion tonight, how many of them have taken the time with their supposedly open minds to actually read the rebuttals to the conspiracy theories? Because those exist too. I found several articles tonight rebutting point by point some of the things that these people have been claiming. There's one article here at Huffington Post that rebuts several conspiracy theories. One that a school nurse got her script wrong, that Adam Lanza didn't use an assault rifle, that he allegedly died the day before the shooting. Memorial websites and Facebook pages had already been set up. Why did Adam Lanza have his brother's ID? There were multiple shooters, crisis actors, and so they take time to debunk all of those. Now, of course, there are usually debunkings of the debunkings as well. So this really is a rabbit hole, and it's a dangerous one, in my opinion, because you don't want to get lost in conspiracy land, because you'll lose sight of what you can actually do about this stuff. Getting on Facebook and posting a meme about how you think that these crisis actors are evidence that the school shooting didn't happen or whatever, that's not going to do anything to advance freedom in our lifetime. It's going to likely make people dismiss you as a nut job. Whereas if you can actually post something that's a real confirmed story that actually happened, like let's say the police shooting someone in the back that they have handcuffed and there's video footage of it happening. Something like that, that's going to upset people, but it's undeniable. It's absolutely incontrovertible evidence of police corruption. And while that's going to upset the supporters of the police who are going to, they'll make excuses for the police, like, well, he was dangerous or whatever. There are going to be more people who could see that and who might be swayed by it because they don't have to believe what sounds like a ridiculous story. Maybe it's true that it's all been a government, plot and a put on, and that they were crisis actors and that no one was ever shot. But good luck convincing people of that. And if you do convince them of it,
it's as far as the it's difficult to lie to people and get them to agree with you. But it's even more difficult to convince someone who is absolutely convinced in something that what they believe is not true.
And a lot of the times, the conspiracy people, some of the people promoting these things, are not the brightest bulbs in the basket. And some of these rebuttals will shed some light on that, so to speak. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. You can join us here. This is Free Talk Live.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website, fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Join us here toll free, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can get your online shopping done through shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com. Enter Amazon through the links you'll find there, and Free Talk Live will get a cut of the sale. It's that simple. Same great Amazon, same great super service and selection. Just go to shop.freetalklive.com to get started as we continue with your calls and thoughts about what you want. Jack is in New York. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Johnny Ray, and Conan. Hello, Jack.
Hello.
Hey, you're on the air.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. Go ahead with your thoughts, please.
All right. So I had this little problem with a ghost in my house. I eventually had these people from eBay come over and scam me for a ghost hunting thing.
You had people from eBay?
Oh yeah, eBay, of course. eBay.
You can hire ghost hunters on eBay?
Apparently, that's what I found it at.
Huh. So you had a problem with a ghost. What was the problem exactly?
Okay, so it was going on for about a month, but I didn't care about it. But then, for the last day that I dealt with it was, I was sleeping in my room with my wife, and we were sitting in my room. We were watching The Breakfast Club, and we heard, I know, great movie. And we heard the frying pan in our kitchen just slam down. And so we went out there, and there was a chair in the middle of our dining room, just sitting in the kitchen. And we just looked at each other like,
time to call eBay.
Yeah. And so by the time we paid for the eBay thing, they hadn't came. They said they wouldn't have came until a month. So it's a couple days later, and we're watching. I'm pretty sure it was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And,
another great movie.
Oh, another great movie. Yeah, exactly. And
Do you think the ghost is mad that you're watching good 80s movies without him?
I think so. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe he's mad that we're just watching these epic movies.
Some people hate the 80s, Ian. If I was a ghost and you were watching 80 movies all day, I would be.
You'd be mad about that?
I'd be flipping things over all day long.
You hate the 80s?
Those are both John Hughes films, I believe.
And this is the weird thing. We're sitting in our room, we're watching it on our laptop, and my TV in my bedroom just flips over. It just falls on the ground.
It's a good call. Thanks, Jack, for the call
ground,
tonight, man.
And we're just sitting in our room like,
Well,
thanks for the call, Jack.
I'm curious about these ghost hunters
Yeah,
on
I want
eBay.
to know more. I want to know what happened. I want to get some resolution on this because I'm scared now. I'm afraid to watch 16 Candles. I'm afraid to watch.
If you're going to watch anything
what
from
happened,
the 80s,
Jack? What did the ghost hunters say?
I don't know. I got rid of him. He was kind of petering out,
right.
in my opinion. It was fun, though, for a little while. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. You really can call about anything. We go to Greg on the line in Pennsylvania via Skype. Hello, Greg.
Hello, guys. And, hey, Jack, give me some of that stuff you're smoking, man. I want to watch that movie, too.
He's not old enough to smoke.
He didn't sound like he was old enough to have a wife, either.
I wondered if I heard that right. He said something about a wife?
Yeah, he did.
Hey, listen, you brought up some great memories. R&R magazine used to get that every week in radio. I did that for about 40 years. So I appreciate what you guys are doing. But let me ask you this question. The Tamir Rice thing has me really befuddled here. If Ohio has an open gun law and you can carry, let's say, a weapon, as I've seen on Facebook, Instagram, and some of the other social media recently, why is it that the cops would roll up on this kid out of nowhere and just shoot him down? He's 12 years old. And I'm sure you guys share the same sentiment I share, that when we were kids, perhaps I was a kid in the 50s and 60s, you guys probably a little bit younger, but we played Indians and cowboys. I know it's not politically correct now, but, you know, we had plastic guns, BB guns, whatever we had. And nobody just rolled up on us and killed us. So what's your thought on that whole thing with Tamir Rice? And we all watched it before our eyes worldwide on video, as we watched many things happen on video last year where people just got killed by the police. What's up, man?
I think it really has to do with a culture of militarism within the police, a culture of badge heavies, which is a slang that describes the police who want to use the violence that they can use on people without any kind of consequence and know that they can use violence. They know they're protected when they do things like this. They're protected by their department from any kind of real consequences for their actions. And so they rush to escalate a situation. There's no reason for them not to escalate the situation. So that's why, in this case, they literally pile out of the car and blast Tamir Rice to death.
Yeah, these young cadets, when they're going through training, they're showed these videos where, you know, it's the other way around, where they approach a car and they get gunned down. I mean, they're inundated with, you know, all these tragic cop killings. And when they go out on the streets, that they're, you know, that's the mindset that they're in, that they're constantly at danger, that, you know, everyone has a gun. They have all these, you know, when they approach a window, they won't, you know, get into a certain degree, otherwise they're in the shooting range. They got all these strategies that they use because they are, you know, it's been pushed down their ideologies that everyone has a gun, everyone's a potential criminal, and there's a bullet, you know, around every corner.
I think I think a big part of it, Greg, is simply that the American populace has a better ability to record the actions of the police, and we're just seeing
more of it
more of what was happening already.
Let me ask you this. Do you think we're becoming anesthetized to all this? Because it's just been happening too frequently in the last, let's say, 5 years. I mean, I know a lot of people want to blame this on Obama or the current administration. I mean, but this stuff's been going on for years, man. I am 61 years old. I live in rural Pennsylvania near Penn State University, out in the woods. I'm a black American. And, you know, what's sad is I just moved home recently after 40 years, and I graduated high school. And, of course, everybody knows me because there were only a handful of black kids here. And, obviously, I don't remember all these people. But, times have changed, and, people talk about Obama crying a little bit on TV today. The reality is I shed a tear, too, because I'm so frustrated by what's happening in America. I'm watching, this melting pot of Americans and human beings just fall apart and just fall to hell and back.
Well, I think Americans are anesthetized to it, but I don't think they're more anesthetized to it.
And you know what? They're not more violent either, at least not gun violence. The gun crimes, or gun murders anyways, are going down, and they've been going down. So when Obama comes out and has a little tear for the tragic incident at Sandy Hook, it's like, and he talks about the gun violence, and we've got to do all these things and pass all these laws. It's like, well, no, it's more people own guns, more people have gun permits, and there are less murders.
So we need to enforce what we have. I mean, that's what it is. It comes down to enforce the damn laws that you already have on the books, and get the NRA out of it. Do what Americans do.
I would like them to repeal the laws on the books rather than enforce the laws on the books, because, if we want to have freedom, the laws on the books get in the way of that. There's 20,000 plus gun laws on the federal government level, from what I understand.
It's confusing.
And that any law outside of you have a right to bear arms, I think is muddles the matter, and it makes it criminalizes people trying to defend themselves. I don't think that we need the government involved at all. I mean, here in New Hampshire, we have relative gun freedom compared to a lot of other states, but yet there isn't an issue with people getting shot to death around here, because there was actually some lady, I guess there's a headline out of New Hampshire, some old lady was followed home by some creep, and she pulled a gun on him, and I think she shot him.
Damn.
So hey, that's the right way to use a gun in
Let me ask you this about the LRN. I listen to it, obviously daily.
Thanks.
Again, I actually operate a network, so you guys are part of our programming. But having said that, I spoke to you, I believe it was last year, from Johnstown, PA, and I recently moved back to Huntington. But having said that, Keene, New Hampshire. Tell us a little bit about Keene, New Hampshire. I don't know that much about it. Of course, are there any black people there? I mean, can I go fish?
There aren't enough of them.
There's a couple.
There's a handful. We can talk more about Keene. Stand by, Greg, and you can also join us here on Free Talk Live.
Are you searching for your soulmate? Someone you can trust, who will never betray you, or cooperate with the NSA? Stop searching. With EasyDNS, you found a keeper. EasyDNS does it all: domain names, web hosting, and managed WordPress hosting. EasyDNS stands up for your internet freedom, and with servers in Canada, they do not cooperate with the NSA. Go to EasyDNS.com. You'll love their services or get a full refund. They guarantee it, and they accept Bitcoin. That's EasyDNS.com.
As a pioneer of the e-commerce movement, Overstock.com is proud to be the first major retailer to accept Bitcoin. Overstock was the first because Patrick Byrne, Overstock's CEO and founder, firmly believes in personal freedom and cryptocurrency. Over the past 16 years, Overstock has furnished over 18 million homes with a diverse line of products to suit everyone's unique styles and preferences. Support Overstock and freedom of choice while enjoying free shipping on orders of 0.211 Bitcoin or more.
911, what is your emergency? There's somebody in my house. Hurry, please.
A home break-in happens every 22 seconds. Homes without a security system are up to 3 times more vulnerable to a burglary. That's why there's Simply Safe. In an emergency, our advanced wireless technology alerts police up to 10 times faster, and your connection to emergency services can't be cut because Simply Safe doesn't rely on landlines. Simply Safe costs less than half what traditional companies charge, just $14.99 a month, and there's no commitment to an annual contract. Protect your family with the highest caliber security. Go now to simplysafedefense.com and get 10% off with free shipping and a 3-year warranty. Hurry, and you'll also receive a keychain remote worth $25. Try Simply Safe for a full 60 days. You'll feel confident that your family is safe or your money back. Go to simplysafedefense.com right now. simplysafedefense.com.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, But now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. I know this sounds unbelievable, but at my house, we saved as much as 45% off of a new item on Amazon. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
You can listen to Free Talk Live on the radio, podcast, satellite, webcam, and our live streams. But did you know you can listen to Free Talk Live from any phone, anywhere? Add this number to your phone, 213-493-0308. It's a long-distance call, so make sure you're familiar with your phone's calling plan. The listen lines are airing the latest episode of Free Talk Live 24 hours a day, including our live shows. Call 213-493-0308. That's 213-493-0308.
As a pioneer of the e-commerce movement, Overstock.com is proud to be the first major retailer to accept Bitcoin. Overstock was the first because Patrick Byrne, Overstock's CEO and founder, firmly believes in personal freedom and cryptocurrency. Over the past 16 years, Overstock has furnished over 18 million homes with a diverse line of products to suit everyone's unique styles and preferences. Support Overstock and freedom of choice while enjoying free shipping on orders of 0.211 Bitcoin or more.
Listen to LRN.FM on any phone, anytime. 213-493-0309. That's 213-493-0309.
This is Free Talk Live. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you in studio tonight, it's Ian.
Jonny Ray.
And Conan.
And Conan, you have a show, but you've kind of put it on hiatus at the moment.
Yeah, I'm catching up. I started a new business, and I'm still learning the tricks of the trade, and I needed to back off a little bit and invest more time into that
Archives
business.
are available at blacksheeprising.org. So
correct, and I really miss it, and
do you?
I want to get back into it.
Good.
And maybe
so sometime in 2016?
Maybe even do a shorter, maybe an hour or 2 hour program on LRN, maybe. Something. Because I want to get back into it. I miss it. And but yeah, blacksheeprising.org. You can see all the past archives. And yeah.
Let's go back to Greg. Greg had some questions about our Keene, New Hampshire, which is where we are broadcasting from here tonight. And Greg, you'd asked if there are black people in Keene, New Hampshire. And
exactly. I'm sorry. I don't want to belabor the point, but I've listened each evening for a while.
Yeah.
And, and I understand the premise of your network and, of course, your show. And that's great because I do a talk show as well. And most people don't know I'm black. But, however, saying that, I'm curious as to Keene, New Hampshire, geographically, what's the industry, what's the demographics like, and are there black people there?
New Hampshire is sadly one of the problems with New Hampshire is it doesn't really have much in the way of diversity generally. Manchester is better, I think, than most places. I do tend to see black folks on the street there in Manchester a lot more often than I do here in Keene. There are more Asians in Keene than there are black people, and there aren't that many Asians in Keene either.
Yeah, New Hampshire white is population is 94%.
94%.
So yeah, it's mostly white.
And so, I think that people who love liberty should come here no matter what their skin color is. But for whatever reason, black people don't seem to like to go north of Boston very much.
I love Pennsylvania. We're very similar in many ways. However, I am an outdoors person. I hike, I bike, I fish, and I grew up in this area. Yeah, I would love that area, and that's why I mentioned it. Just to visit calls me every time I listen to your show. You talk a little bit about the Spire. And,
the Shire.
The Shire.
Come on up for the Liberty Forum. It's happening February 18th through the 21st. It's going to be in a hotel, so there won't be much outdoorsy things to do during the Liberty Forum, but it's a great excuse to come up and check out the community.
Well, I'll jump on your website and I'll check that out. That's February 18th through the 21st.
It's nhlibertyforum.com. It's not my website. That's their site. But we will be there broadcasting live And I'd love to see, a community of black libertarians come up and move into Keene. I think that would be fantastic.
The libertarians are the party of the minority. I mean, if you're any, it works so it makes so much sense for the minority groups because we cherish the individual
rights,
not the group, not the collective.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I try to think of myself as somebody who stands sort of apart from whatever this other perspective is, because I have to share this with you as one of the very first black Americans or African Americans, if you will, in radio. And then I actually moved to television. And you can only imagine when you're by yourself, it's sort of, it's kind of difficult. And of course, I'm in the small town America, and it sounds like Keene is the same way.
It is.
But I look forward to visiting you guys in February. So I look for. Thank you for the invitation, by the way.
Yeah, no problem. And thanks for the call tonight, Greg. Appreciate hearing from you. And look, small towns have their issues, right? Not just for people in minority roles, but just in general. And so if you prefer a bigger place, Manchester is that place. I mean, there's 100,000 people living in Manchester. It's the biggest city in New Hampshire, and it is a more diverse population, although it's still not that diverse because it's New Hampshire.
Now, Greg asked what industry we have here, and I wanted to probe you guys about it. I know we have our state university, and that's a big source of the money that comes into this community.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a large medical equipment manufacturer, Smith's Medical.
You got CNC. You got
CNC, food wholesaler.
Timken. Do they make ball bearings or something like that?
There's you got Ruger that's up north of us.
Ruger, yeah. How far away is Ruger?
They make
Newport.
Is against. I'm so against the military-industrial complex, but it seems we do produce a lot of military components. Ball bearings for.
So there's industry here, but there's also a lot of retail jobs in Keene, and some of the industries moved out of the area. The property taxes are super high in Keene compared to other areas.
Yeah,
of
and
the state.
some of the businesses are going south to Swansea, which is the town where it's basically combined with. We're so close to each other.
I like to look at New Hampshire as a place where there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of possibility. Somebody was online, one of the Free Staters was online on Facebook talking about how great it is to be in this community of people, but he doesn't really much care for New Hampshire because it's sort of backwoods or redneck or whatever. He described it as air conditioned, window unit air conditioners hanging out of people's windows, and the reason that happens here is because the houses are super old. Like, the houses that were built here were built in the 1800s and before in a lot of cases, and they didn't have central AC back in those days, and so it would cost a buttload of money to retrofit a house for central AC that wasn't originally built for that. So it's just cheaper for people to put a window unit in for 3 months out of the year and then take that thing down. So that's why you see a lot of that. But I see New Hampshire as a place where there's a lot of potential for growth. It's a relatively small population state with very few regulations compared to many other states. And while it's true that the business atmosphere here isn't the most attractive of all 50 states,
it used to be, but it's in the decline because of property taxes.
It's mid-pack in general, from what I understand, as far as like if you rank business freedoms of all the states. But we're positioned to get a lot better in those areas because of the Free State Project. Because we've got Free Staters, liberty-minded people who are moving here and getting active, getting elected, and working to roll back the government, you're going to see the business atmosphere get better and more attractive in New Hampshire over time. Eventually, it'll become the obvious choice. Well, let's see. Do you want to run your business where there's next to no taxation? Come to New Hampshire. It'll be that within a decade or so. So go join the Free State Project if you love liberty. This is the place to be. The community's unmatched, and don't miss the New Hampshire liberty.
Yeah, wasn't there a porn producer who was talking about moving to New Hampshire because of the silly California laws?
It's the only state besides California, from what I understand, where it's legal to record pornography as well. So yeah, that's true here. Let's see. Speaking of pornography and online things, let's go back to video games, which is fun stuff.
Yeah, my escape.
Let's go back to Morrowind, which was what you were recommending, Johnny Ray, as your game of the week, a retro throwback, which is not uncommon for you. You do frequently recommend old games, sort of bringing them back around. And you said this game has gotten you out of playing Hearthstone, which you've been playing solidly as your game of choice for the last year of your life.
Right.
Morrowind. Are you playing it on an old console, or did you get the computer version this time?
I'm playing it on Steam, so
Okay.
I'm playing it on my my tablet. my Microsoft Surface 3.
How does it look? I mean, does it hold up? Does the game look okay?
It works fine. Oh, the original game looks pretty ugly.
Really? I remember it being beautiful back in the day. Lots of colors and really just an attractive looking game.
Almost 15 years ago.
It is
a lot of enhancements.
The world is they've made a beautiful world within the limitations that they're working on. The people, the character models are very clunky. The animation's pretty bad, and they're all sort of segmented. They don't look like real people. But since the game is so well loved, a lot of people have created mods for Morrowind. So,
which you can only get on the PC. You can't download the mods for the game systems.
Yeah, one more reason to stay away from consoles.
Yeah.
Right. So my Morrowind is a lot prettier looking. The draw distance is further off. I've got new water effects.
Nice.
Yeah. So
you've upgraded with the mods. Then.
Yes, it's a big difference, and it's beautiful.
Are you replaying it the way that you typically play these types of games? Are you trying to play another type of character? Are you actually role playing in this particular version?
In some ways, I'm role playing, and I'm doing a 180 on kind of the way I played before, because the way I played before was very sort of a Law and Order sort of a thing, and a pro-military mindset that I had at the time was reflected in the choices that I made in Morrowind.
So you're trying the Assassin's Guild now and the Thieves Guild, things like that?
Yeah, now I'm trying to convince myself that the people in the game are not real people and that it's okay for me to do things to them.
See, it's funny. I've had the opposite experience over time, Johnny Ray. I used to play the bad guy in these games, because this is one of the fun parts about these open world. Bethesda is the company that makes these games, because they also made the Fallout series recently, and they've done a great job with that too. But you're also given these choices where you can sort of do the wrong thing or do the right thing, or there's like the morally ambiguous question, and what do you do in these situations?
And by the way, those are the best when it's so gray. You don't know if I'm helping this faction, it's going to come to bite me in the butt. 2 hours from now.
So it's part of the fun. Like you can play the bad guy, you can steal things, you can break into places, you can kill people, or you can play the good guy. And so I've had the reverse. I used to play the bad guy. Now I play the good guy, because I'm like, well, what happens when these non-player characters start to become more and more real? It's going to bother me.
Always the good guy here.
See you tomorrow. Online in the meantime, freetalklive.com.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit, did your nerves spike? You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
You can control your health care with Liberty Health Share.
Liberty Health Share is like-minded people coming together to share medical costs, which saves money.
You don't even have to pay for procedures that violate your conscience.
Because we all share the same values.
Join the movement of people who share in medical costs and change the way you pay for your health care forever.
Go to libertyhealthshare.org to find out more.
Liberty Health Share.
Together, we're changing healthcare for good. libertyhealthshare.org.
Did you know that you can listen to and watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cam at cam.freetalklive.com? Not only that, but you can also chat with other listeners at the same time. Do I need to mention that both the studio cam and chat room are totally free? Outside of Free Talk Live's live hours, you won't see a cam feed, but will hear audio from the Liberty Radio Network. So listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
The latest edition of Rebel Love Show is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, January 5th, 2016. Silver is trading at $13.96 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,076 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $433. Antiwar.com reports facing growing international condemnation for their weekend executions. Saudi Arabia is trying to turn the tables and make the whole situation about Iran, and is courting its usual list of allies to cut diplomatic relations with Tehran. Sudan was the first to follow through, cutting all diplomatic ties and condemning Iran's barbaric attacks after protesters burned the Saudi embassy. Bahrain, still clamping down on its own Shiite majority while blaming Iran for protesters demanding equal rights, was quick to follow suit. Bahrain insisted that Iran was interfering with Saudi policy by being unhappy with the execution of a cleric for the content of his sermons. The United Arab Emirates also reduced ties, lowering its representation in Iran to a charge d'affaires and saying it is planning to reduce the number of Iranian diplomats allowed in the country. Iran criticized the Saudi effort to increase sectarian tensions in the region, saying Iran was not to blame for the embassy attack and had arrested 50 of the demonstrators in keeping with their obligation to keep the embassy secure.
The Daily Decrypt is a Monday through Friday newscast about all the best news in cryptocurrencies and peer-to-peer networks. Know what's hot in the world of digital money, borderless trade, and cutting-edge communications. Available on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Facebook video. The Daily Decrypt is the news of the future.
UPI reports the U.S. Department of Justice filed a civil complaint against Volkswagen on Monday in the scandal over false emissions data. The Justice Department wrote in a statement, the complaint alleges that nearly 600,000 diesel engine vehicles had illegal devices installed that impair their emissions control system and cause emissions to exceed EPA standards, resulting in harmful air pollution. Vehicles affected include the Volkswagen Jetta, Beetle, and several Audi models. Volkswagen equipped certain 2.0-liter vehicles with software that detects when the car is being tested for emission standards and then turns on full emissions control only during testing, according to the complaint. Volkswagen is also accused of equipping certain 3.0-liter vehicles with similar software that also illicitly assists the vehicle to reach emission standards. When driving in normal conditions, nitrogen emissions in such vehicles were up to 9 times the standard. Discussions between the U.S. government and Volkswagen about potential remedies and recalls have been ongoing. Volkswagen has proposed recalibrating the software.
For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports Arizona on Monday agreed to pay $3 million to an ex-prison teacher who was attacked and raped at a state correctional facility when she was left alone with a violent sex offender. The victim sued the state in October 2014, claiming prison officials were grossly negligent in allowing the incident to occur on January 30th of that year. She had sought $4 million in her claim. Court records showed that Arizona did not admit liability in the attack at the Iman prison complex in Florence, about 60 miles southeast of Phoenix, but settled the lawsuit. The settlement agreement, obtained by Reuters through a public records request, was made final on Monday. Authorities said the teacher was attacked in a classroom by Jacob Harvey, who was serving a 30-year term for sexual assault and kidnapping. Investigators confirmed that Harvey stabbed the victim with a pen, brutally assaulted, and then raped her. No guards were present during the encounter. Harvey was sentenced to life in prison in September for the rape, plus additional time for kidnapping and aggravated assault, and he apologized to the former teacher during the court proceedings. State prison officials were heavily criticized following the attack, and the department was fined $14,000 for workplace safety violations. Scott Zwillinger, the teacher's attorney, said he was very satisfied with the settlement that he believes is fair to both sides. A spokesman for the Arizona Department of Corrections